Your link should soon be starting. So yes, so needless to say, I was very, very impressed with these vehicles. So I'm going to show you guys here in just a second. That'll give me a little time to do my first squats, and I'm feeling them now. I'm going to be completely honest with you. During the day, Mama's legs are tight and sore. So, yeah. So I went to the parliamentary luncheon yesterday. We can talk a little bit about that before our guests come on at 8 o'clock as well. And it was a good luncheon. A big shout out to the chamber. They did a good job. Someone from the chamber said to me jokingly before they started, "Oh, I got to make sure that I pronounce all the names right. Otherwise, CMR is going to be embarrassing us on the radio, making reference to the Clifton Hunter graduation." So, of course, I chuckled about that. Needless to say, they got them right. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. So it was a good event. I try to go. I've been going now for years to the chamber parliamentary luncheon, and I try to go because I think it's a good opportunity to have the government address the business community. But there's lots of people there. I mean, lots of companies buy tables, and by extension, their Caymanian staff are able to grab a seat and to hear from their government in this more business lunch setting. So let me show you the interview from last night. I've got more video footage than just this. So I'm going to put a compilation together, and we will be posting it up on social media. So again, I just really want to congratulate the entire Foster family, but in particular, Taylor Foster, who really made this, I think, amazing decision to bring a brand to the Cayman Islands that has, has obviously people extremely impressed. There was lots of buzz around the product last night, and I'm going to let you see this interview for yourself so that you can see what you think. But the cars are good. I mean, they have a connection to both Honda and Toyota, and the long history, much longer history than I knew. Of course, it's a Chinese brand, so we don't necessarily hear about them until they kind of reach this part of the world. But yes, the brand is here now, and they're nice. I mean, they come with amazing warranties. Like the e-vehicles come with an 8-year warranty. The other ones come with 5 years, and then you can upgrade to 7 years very, very easily. And the price point is unbelievable. The technology that's in it. I was in one of the e-vehicles, and you can say things to it like, "Hey, babe, roll up all the windows," and it rolls up all the windows. "Hey, babe, close the sunshade," and it closes the sunshade on the top. I was like, "Whoa, this is awesome." So here's an interview from last night, folks. While I do my 25, maybe I'm going to push it a little bit this morning and try to squeeze in 30, but I'm going to aim for 25 squats. If you haven't done any yet this morning, start out with me. Start the show on a good note. All right, folks, so we're here with Tarek and Taylor, of course, from, I keep saying Car City, but it's not a Car City event, it's Audi.
Yes, ma'am.
But it's a part of a Arch Automotive.
Yes, ma'am.
Part of a big family here, of course, of vehicles, and this is the GAC launch event. So tell us, young man, how you're involved in the brand and what excitement you must be seeing here tonight.
Oh, I'm so excited. What an incredible turnout. So I want to say first and foremost, hello to the Caymanian people. We have a fantastic event that's held by the Foster family. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So my name is Tarek Amjad, and I'm the regional distributor for GAC throughout the Caribbean. And what we have done is we have appointed Arch, Car City, Extension Foster family to be the exclusive dealer representative for GAC. And GAC is one of the largest automotive groups in all of China.
Wow.
And it's actually one of the largest companies in the world. In the Fortune Global 500, we're actually number 181, which is pretty amazing. So, so we're here tonight, and we're launching this fantastic brand with Taylor and his great team.
Yeah, so I see there's a wide range of vehicles. You've got some that are EV vehicles. You've got a wide range from the sports the, you know, family, SUV, all these amazing brands, and lines within the brand. So tell us a little bit, so far I've heard that everything's sold out anyway, but how excited you must be to be introducing this to the Cayman Islands.
Oh, absolutely. For this one, I'm going to leave this question to Taylor. But I'm just going to tell you a little bit. We have a little bit of something for each and every one.
Yes.
If you want sports sedans, we got you. Compact SUVs, mid-sized SUVs, left-hand drive or right-hand drive, large 7-seater SUVs, four-wheel drive, electric cars, hybrids. The entire portfolio is here, right? So please head on down to Arch, where you can get to see, test drive, and experience these beautiful vehicles for yourself.
Yeah. All right.
Well, thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
So, first and foremost, Ms. Sandy, thank you for having us. Tarek, I want to thank you for this amazing opportunity to represent this amazing brand. And I know a lot of people know my face from obviously from Car City and me with the Foster family. But yes, this is going to be an Arch Automotive brand. So we have been involved with Arch Automotive in a partnership with the Arch family for about 15 years.
Yeah.
But we recently took over operationally from the Arch family. So we're very, very proud. As you can see, we've been doing a lot of renovations at Arch with the Audi brand. And now we're very, 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 very excited to bring on GAC. So with GAC, we have a complete lineup from small SUVs to large SUVs, hybrids, gas and electrics, vans.
Pickups are coming.
And also commercial. So one of the very cool things for us was with taking on GAC, one of the big deciding factors, because we were looking at Chinese brands for quite a long time, was not only is the Amjad family, which you call it too, is the matriarch is over there to your right as well, is we knew that it was a great connection. We wanted to do business with the right people. So that was a big thing for us, especially as a family.
Thank you.
Secondly, was again too is the product. Because again too is I've been saying this all day, is Napoleon has a really good saying. It says, tacticians win battles, logistics win wars. So one of the big things about us is being a car brand and why we are known for some powerful brands like Honda, Suzuki, Jeep, is because of accessibility and to be able to get those things. In this case for Arch Automotive, Audi, to be able to get Audi parts and those things, and those are great brands. But for the Chinese brands, we were looking for the right partner. With GAC, we found that right partner because we have 100,000 square feet of warehouse space in Panama.
That's right.
We also have 40,000 in St. Martin. So we're going to be in the Panama warehouse. We have over a 90% fill rate.
That's right.
And then in St. Martin we have a 85.
About 85%.
85% fill rate. So not only are you going to get a great car at a great price, we at Arch Automotive are going to be able to support the brand.
And that's something just to touch base a little bit more on what Taylor said. You know, we have all these beautiful cars, beautiful products, all the technology features that everyone wants at an amazing price. But the number one question people are going to have is, do you have parts for them?
Exactly.
And absolutely we do. And this is where we thrive. And this is what's been so successful for us. So like Taylor said, we can get the parts obviously from the main warehouse in China, from St. Martin, but we have a massive warehouse in Panama. So within about 10 days, if for whatever reason Arch does not have that part in stock, we can get you that part within 10 days. So that will bring you tremendous peace of mind when you come to purchase your car, that if something should happen, unfortunately, we've got you covered. You won't be out of a car for long.
Absolutely.
So special shout out to Cayman Airways with the Panama flight.
Nice.
And then let me ask you a quick question, because I heard that the warranty on these is like amazing.
We're very, very, very proud of this. So
5 years?
It's a 5-year warranty, but actually tonight we're going to announce this. You can get up to a 7-year bumper-to-bumper warranty with all yours available on all vehicles.
Wow.
And then with the electric vehicles, you can get an 8-year warranty bumper-to-bumper.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so with the electric vehicles, you're going to get an 8-year bumper-to-bumper up to 200,000 kilometers warranty.
Wow,
which is just phenomenal.
That's unheard of. Yeah,
so you can buy a vehicle and the warranty is transferable. So if after 5 years, let's say you want to sell your car, you can sell it to someone else and give them a 3-year warranty, which only increases your residual value, resale value of your car, and people would want to buy that car knowing that they have warranty for a few more years to go.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
So tell me a little bit. I mean, I've been, a couple weeks ago, I kind of sneaked in.
Oh, nice. You got the early look.
Oh yeah, I got a little
the sneak preview.
Of one for sure. So I'm looking at some options because next year I'm going to be in the market.
Good.
So I'm definitely considering what my options are. But I mean, that warranty is amazing. But tell us, for people who haven't heard of GAC, right? tell us a little bit about the history of the vehicle, because it's got a connection to both Honda and Toyota.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
So I'll tell you a little bit about it. So the origins is from since 1948. That's from when GSC originally existed.
Okay.
And then in 1997, the official group was founded. Right.
Okay.
Now, via joint venture law in China, since 1998, we have been producing Honda vehicles for Honda. Since 2004, we've been producing Toyota. Since 2007, we've been producing Hino Commercial, which is a high-quality commercial trucks. And since 2012, we've been producing Mitsubishi.
Right.
So everyone that's watching this, go and research it and read it for yourself so you can actually see what I'm saying is true. That we actually make the cars for Toyota, for Honda, for Mitsubishi in China. And all those excellence is literally in the DNA of every one of our vehicles. So yes, super modern, super reliable, super durable, and all the bells and features that everyone wants at a price that just cannot be beat.
Yeah, no, this is exciting.
Oh yes, yes. And GAC currently right now in 84 countries worldwide. And right now in the Caribbean, we've launched it in 15 different islands within the Caribbean. So anyone from Cayman who's traveling within the Caribbean, Central America, and South America, you're going to start seeing GACs everywhere. So our brand is exploding. It's a great, great company to work with. Amazing after-sales support. Every single product that you want, sports cars, SUVs, vans, pickup trucks, electric, hybrid, we've got it all for you.
Got it all covered.
Got it all.
All right, so I think it's time for me to try to do a little test drive.
Yeah, all right, let's go for the test drive.
Yeah, you're going to go with me, or who's going to?
I think I could go with you. Why not?
All right, cool.
Yeah.
We're going to do it. We're going to do it.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, folks. Well, I didn't get to test drive last night because the test drive line was so long. There's lots of people who wanted to test drive one. So I'm going to arrange one a bit later on. But listen, all inventory right now is sold out. There's more en route for November. You know, I'm doing the long haul planning. Like I told you guys, next year, I'm looking at something probably maybe the first or second quarter of the year, depending on a few other projects that I have going on that take priority. But, you know, yeah, all the banks were there last night. I want to give a big shout out. Well, not all of them. Butterfield was in there. Wonk, wonk, wonk. But of course, CNB was there. Big shout out to John, Miss Tammy, and Andrew from CNB. I've got a little clip with them as well, talking about what their car loan options are. They were there giving me some goodies and a little bag of goodies. And, you know, all the other banks are represented. Big shout out to Royal Bank. Royal Bank was there. FCIB was there. Scotia was there. And apparently Credit Union, but Credit Union packed up before I got to see their table. But I heard Credit Union had some really nice mugs. I mean, CNB gave me 2 nice mugs too, but Credit Union, hook up a sister with a little mug. We might be able to talk. So all the banks were like, we know you love CNB, Sandy. We know. But, you know, give us a chance now. Come, we can help you out with a little something. I was like, boy, I hear you, but CNB, they takes care of me, so I don't know about that. You know, you don't move when you're happy. When you're in a good relationship, you just stay put. So there, and I said, listen, I get the VIP treatment. My account manager is on WhatsApp. I can WhatsApp her. I can call her. I can email her. She answers her phone. I don't have to be tracking her down because some of these people at these banks, they don't answer no phones. So they're like, no, it's not that. We can take care of you. And I'm like, what they say, a comfort is a promise to a fool. Good morning, Miss Barbara did 30. I pushed to 40 this morning. I know. I actually pushed to 40. Hello. I'm feeling the burn, but I'm going to keep with it. Good morning, Miss Jackie Bennett in the house. Catherine Smalden. Who else did some with me? There was a gentleman yesterday. I didn't get his name. My apologies. English gentleman. And he said to me, Sandy, I got my squats in with you this morning. I had a good chuckle. I love it. I love that we are going to get on a journey of moving together. So we're starting off with squats. When I get my little walk-in pad, I'm also going to be walking in the mornings. Like, I feel like this is ample opportunity for me, especially because I'm here for at least 2 hours. You know, out of the 2 hours, instead of sitting, I could be walking and get my 30 minutes in because I want to look like a slim and trim mini like Shamari. I mean, I want to lose 45, 50 pounds. Sure. You know, it's so easy for men to lose weight, though. Oh, my God. But you know what? Not about easy. Shamari is actually putting in the work, so I respect him for that. Really and truly. So he's motivating me to get on the journey of moving more. So I'm bringing you guys along with me because why not? I want us all to be fit, all to live longer, all to be healthier. Every Tuesday we're talking about health. Health City comes on here and we're encouraging you to do all the right things. Listen, Health City doesn't come on here and say, oh, we've got the magic bullet. Just come to us. We'll give you a tablet. We'll give you a pill. You notice that every time they're here, what do they do first? They talk about exercise, your diet, your mobility. If they're talking about mental health, the things that you need to do for yourself to help yourself. Get your wellness check so you can watch and monitor your numbers, because wellness starts with the individual, right? They don't want to necessarily see you. I mean, obviously, if you got a heart, coronary issue, you need a surgery, whatever, they're there, but they're not here pushing those services. They're like, no, the things that you do, your lifestyle impacts a lot of things, from cancers to diabetes to heart, coronary disease, all of these things. So they really push you to try to take better care of yourself. And so I think obviously it's good advice and we need to do our best. So who else did some with me today? KK says, you're always bigging up CNB, think they're going to give you, laughing out loud. Well, listen, I big them up because they treat me good. If they weren't treating me good, I wouldn't be sitting here talking about them. You can believe that. So, yeah. Raheem, good morning. Let's see. Sounds like it was a great event. It really, really was. So someone says, good morning. How would the GAC compare to the Tesla? Well, I don't know yet because I need to test drive it. But once I test drive it, I can tell y'all. The thing about the Chinese, though, I'm going to be honest with you. They are very well known for sometimes taking people's other products and perfecting it. Like they copy things that are, even the iPhone, like they have Chinese versions of the iPhone. It's not Apple, but you know what I mean? That are off the chain better than Apple kind of vibe. Like they look at what the competitor does and they make it even better, and then they make it even cheaper. And then you're like, what? Yeah. So what I saw so far was very, very impressive. I haven't got to drive, so I want to feel it. So I've got my eyes on two specific models. But yeah, I'm just like, Are civil servants allowed to watch your shows? Why not? Who's going to stop them? I'm not sure, Barbara, how you'd stop them. I mean, I don't know within the government building if they have access. They probably blocked certain sites. So I don't think they have Facebook. They blocked Facebook completely, I believe. I guess civil servants in GAB can tell me. But, the previous governments, they were doing funny business stuff, like trying to block my website and stuff like that. I don't think that this current government really cares about all that nonsense. They're too busy trying to get some real work done. So we got a bit of snippet yesterday. By the way, Patricia Blake did 70 this morning. Congratulations, Patricia. 70 is great, because if you do 70 every time, 70 times 4, girl, you're going to be like looking good in a month if you keep that up. Yeah, so I was going to say that the chamber luncheon yesterday, we learned a couple things. We're self-in this morning. I don't understand. Sometimes people, you want to see the cars? Okay. Hold on, honey child. I got car videos for you now. Hold on. All right, let me see. Is this the one with the... Okay, let me show you a few. Okay.
So this is the tough decision now.
Look at this
as I have to decide which one to test drive. So I really like this EM Zoom. This, what is it, GS3? I kind of like this one, but I'm told that I should check out the electric vehicles as well. So, but of course I love this EM Pow. Somebody said, hey, is that like your kaboom button?
Yeah, I could get that and put kaboom on it. But that's like the sporty one. It's cute and sporty, but
so I kind of
I'm thinking practical, not sporty, but it is beautiful.
Feel like sporty. Look at that sunroof and everything. This one looks amazing. So, hi, how are you? Good. So I wanna just sit down in this one. Look at that. Full leather interior. Oh my God. This is so gorgeous. Wow.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice and cool in here. I love the smell of a new car. Look at all these amazing buttons. The display is on point. Skylight is closed. Yeah, I like this one. But this isn't the practical. This is the, need for speed kind of vehicle. This is not the practical vibe that I probably need, but I do love a good sports car, as you guys know. Hello, Type R folks out there. But let's go look at some other ones. Okay, so this one, folks, is the electric vehicle. I feel like this one has a full panoramic roof, Let's see. Oh, nice. Oh my gosh. Nice. Listen, I might have to do a little thing. Can I turn it? Can I turn it down a little bit? Yeah. So, wow. This is nice.
You could also see it gives out power, so it discharges. You could use it to charge a fridge.
Oh my gosh.
So they were actually charging a little mini refrigerator. This is like your hurricane vehicle. You can charge your fridge, your microwave, all kind of stuff.
Whatever it is.
Oh my goodness. So
You see that right there? That's a fridge.
is it charging that little fridge right now?
It's generating power to the fridge.
Oh my
So if
goodness,
you
that
have
is so
power
cool.
outage, you can connect the car to your fridge or air
Oh my
conditioner.
gosh, this is amazing.
It's amazing. It's this.
I love it.
Your TV.
During a storm, this comes in handy. But no, I actually like this one. I was kind of debating.
All these cute little colors too.
Yeah, this is amazing. It's so pretty.
And the best part is you have 8 years warranty.
I love that.
It's the best in its class.
Yeah, absolutely. Huh. Wow. Nice. I like it. And look at the roof. It's like full. I don't know if you guys can see that, but like full panoramic roof. Like, oh my God.
Look at this, sir.
Skylight. Oh, it's gorgeous.
Sit.
Yes.
Hello, baby.
I'm listening.
Close windows.
Okay, closing the driver's window.
Closing the driver's window.
Hello, baby.
What can I do for you?
Close all windows.
Watch your fingers.
Actually, you have to say it because you're sitting on the sensor.
Oh.
So say hello, baby, and when I start talking, say close all windows.
Hello, baby.
I'm here.
Close all windows.
Okay, close all windows for
oh
you.
my
Say close
God.
sunshade.
Hello, baby.
Okay, sunshade, I'm listening.
Close sunshade.
Okay, sunshades is
look up,
turned
look up.
off.
Oh my goodness.
She can only say
Oh, wow.
All quit.
Oh,
I did.
this is amazing.
I know, right? And guess what? It's a 75.26 kilowatt battery with a 605 kilometer range, and the what comes out of the motor is 201 horses. So basically, you have 3 different driving modes also, and you have an energy saver and a super energy saver. So that 605 range that it can go can actually make it up to 640 kilometers if you're on super. How cool is that?
Wow.
You'll never visit the gas station again. You'll never visit service department again. Imagine that.
Nice.
I know. You only visit the service department when you have
Yeah.
your wipers to change, your brakes to service, or your tires to change.
Yeah,
How
I love
cool
it.
is that?
I love it. I love it.
Fully electric.
Yeah.
And it charges 110, 220, and high voltage. I said it. 110, 220, and high voltage.
And high voltage. Wow. Nice. Oh my gosh. Beautiful.
Seat position. Front passenger single bed. So you can do single bed here, single bed there. All right. The one with the refrigerator also has the massager. So you get those 2 additional features once the owner decides he's going to bring it.
Wow.
Yep.
This is beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Absolutely gorgeous. Wow. Let me go in the back and have a look and see here. Lots of room in there. I want to check out the trunk, because trunk space Oh my goodness. No, sorry. Good trunk space. Yes. Okay. All right. All right. All right. I'm thinking that this could be the one. It's gorgeous. Very nice. I like it. Nice.
All right. So I see a couple of questions coming in. First of all, Aliano made me chuckle. Sorry. He said, "Hello, baby. A real Cayman in Cario." So for those of you asking about the left-hand drive, right? I guess some of these models were, but if you listen to the previous interview, the gentleman said they can equally get left or right-hand drive. So it doesn't matter whichever your preference is. Some people prefer left, some people prefer right. In this country, I must say that I prefer right. I think most of my vehicles, not all, but most have been right-hand drive because, you know, when you go through the drive-through and stuff, it just makes sense. So yes, I would definitely get a right-hand one as well. Asking if the system is in Chinese or English. No, these are made for the English market. So there's nothing in Chinese. I guess in setup, like most cars, you can choose other languages, but no, all in English, my dear Aliano, all in English. And yeah, I love that. Hello, baby. Hello, baby. Close the windows for me. And it just puts all the windows up. Lucky Body still afraid of an electric vehicle. Ooh, honey child. Trust me, when you drive one, you may never go back to driving anything else. I mean, legit, I can tell you that there's something about an electric vehicle. Yeah. And the acceleration on them is like mad crazy. Not that I'm encouraging y'all to drive any faster, because Lord knows you can't handle what you got now. But you know, if you need to quick time pull out in front of somebody, this is it. But look at the beauty of these cars. I mean, the colors are amazing. They have some really nice trim on them, and they're an affordable option. So, you know, you don't have to break the bank to actually have a feature-filled vehicle, right? They have lots of features. Like you see, this is the electric vehicle. It can charge, you know, stuff like a refrigerator, microwave. You know, you don't think about these things, but during a hurricane, you might find that indeed those sort of little features can come in can come in handy. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed the event last night. Like I said, I'd had a little bit of a sneak peek beforehand, but they're chock full of features. Now, here's what's going to set them apart. Right? Because I know some of y'all thinking, well, Sandy, you know, we hear about this Shang Yang, whatever foolishness, and nothing but trouble with those. You know why? Because they have to get the parts directly from China. They have to wait months and months and months to get a part. Then they would change supply issues and whatever. With these, they have two, not one, but two actual parts warehouses with the one in Panama has 90% of the parts that you will ever need for the vehicle. The other one is in St. Martin, has about 85%. So in the event that the Arch Automotive here does not have a part that you need, fear not, they can order it straight from Panama. Bus, Cayman Airways, you know, they're going to Panama every single week. So they will be able to get you those parts relatively quickly. Price range, I'm going to have to double check. They obviously have, I think they start in the 20s, and then they have different, you know, you can go all the way up from there. So they have different features that you can get, like the, I think it's the Zoom one that I was looking at has like a light package and then like an Elite Plus and Elite. So you have like 3 different package options that you can get depending on the features that you actually want. So maybe I'll invite Taylor on the show, but I've got more video footage that I'm going to put up a bit later on. I see our guests look like they are ready. Thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Almost ready. So yeah, we'll get Taylor to talk a little bit more about the company. So Lavana, about the pricing. Lavana, the vehicle brand is called GAC. Arch Automotive, which is part of the Foster's Group, is the ones who is the official distributor here in the Cayman Islands, and they're bringing them in. Amazing warranty starting at 5 years, bumper to bumper. The e-vehicles, electronic vehicles, are 8 years, bumper to bumper because you have so much less to do with an electric vehicle. You don't have an engine. You don't have to change spark plugs and all that kind of stuff. And like the interview, the guy said earlier, is if you sell your vehicle at 5 years and you got 3 years left, that'll transfer to the new owner. Isn't that amazing to get a 5-year vehicle with still 3 years worth of full bumper to bumper warranty on it? So, yes, honey chill. It's they're amazing cars. And I've not test driven one yet, to be fair, but I will do so. And then I'll let you guys know how that goes. All right, let's go to our guest. Anthony says, Sandy, I can tell you all those new realtors are upset this morning. No big Christmas bonus and commissions after seeing this episode on the new cars. You know, Caymanians, cars before land. Oh my God. No. I would never advocate that. A car is a necessity, but at this price point, I'm going to be honest with you, you can get a luxury vehicle at a, amazing price. So this is where now you got to think about your budget. Instead of y'all running out there and buying the BMW, the Mercedes, which you can't really afford because the bank is like, yeah, we'll finance it. Split that money. Put half on your land that you're working towards. And then, the bank will finance it, a little car for you. Your payments are less. But of course, I'm always telling you guys now, try to save up for your cars and don't go to the bank if you don't have to. Like if you say, right, next year I want a new car. Make it June of next year. You got 6 months, every little month to put a little bit away and to save up for it. All right, honey chill. Yeah, I mean, for sure. But the point is, KK, it's Friday. You missing the point. Hold on a second. In fact, KK, hold your horses.
What a pint of this show is.
What a pint. What a pint.
What a pint of this show is.
I think the guy sent me the wrong one because I wanted the one that said, what a pint, what a pint. Okay. I have it though. I'm going to get it because it says, what a pint, what a pint. The pint is normally when you have a car for 5 years, you have no warranty left to transfer. That a pint. All right, Miss Marjorie, y'all slow for Friday. What did I just say? You can get left hand, right hand, whatever you want. All right, I need y'all to put on your thinking caps. I get it that it's Friday, but we have the Honorable Premier in the House, none other than, drum roll please. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Andre Ebanks, and he is being joined by the Honorable Ralston Anglin. Not for nothing, but I did see your comments the last time this duo was on. And I noticed that you guys were like, can we please have them on more? And you guys were like, we love Ralston. In fact, y'all were like, Ralston should take over this ministry and that ministry. And I'm like, hey, calm down. He is only one man, and we need him to fix education first and foremost. So don't throw him in immigration. Don't throw him in health. Y'all are like, yes, we need a man like him over here, over there. Nope. All the ministers have their responsibilities. Please give them an opportunity to do their job. But we do love Ralston. Good morning. We love the premier. Oh boy, you got a lot of fans. You got a lot of fans, Ralston. I tell you.
But you stop spreading those rumors now. It's a Friday, and just before bad weather, so it'll spread like wildfire.
Oh my goodness! Well, people really appreciate both of you coming onto the program, and they can see your focus. Let me congratulate the Honorable Premier yesterday on your presentation. I got to tell you, when you finished, somebody said, "Is that it? Is he done? That's his speech?" Because they were like, wow, it was timed well. I mean, you didn't bore us to death. You got to the salient points that you needed to reach. And the audience was like, okay, then we got you. Couple really big announcements that came out of that. We'll talk about those a little bit later on, but let me congratulate you on your first parliamentary luncheon as a new government. Well represented. It was so nice to see a lot of the coalition members there sitting at the various tables.
Good morning to you, Sandra. Good morning, Cayman and Caymanians overseas.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. Honorable Minister Ralston Anglin, Minister of Education and Training, as well as Finance, is here with us again. And we're still going to be talking a little bit about the SPS and a few other things. And then somebody was asking about the weather. Don't worry, we haven't forgotten about Melissa. We have some representatives from Hazard Management, Ms. Danielle Coleman, and our head meteorologist, Mr. Kerry Powell. Oh, I always
Acting
get it.
Director Kerry, yep.
Yes, he will actually be here as well on the program. So just stay tuned for that. So let's get into, I know that we kind of left off some of the tidbits about the SPS, so we didn't quite get to finish. Let's go through a few elements of that still. I think people now have a better idea about, what the SPS is and what sort of you're intended to do as a government with that. And you've made some really, really, I think, salient, changes around how the government is going to handle the budget. And of course, you've got now your budget is going to be presented. Is it next? Have you started the budget presentation?
Wednesday, 2
Wednesday.
p.m., the 5th of November.
The 5th of November. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Beautiful.
So you're right, Sandra, that this is sort of series 2 of the SPS. Last time we gave a broad overview of what it was, some of the key points, some of the points that we got a little bit of kickback from the opposition and our counters to those kickback. And now I think maybe what we'll do today is maybe go through the broad outcomes and give a flavor of some of the stuff that's already in train, some of the things that we highlighted at the parliamentary luncheon yesterday.
Yes.
And then we can take it from there. I will start with the weather, though. Danny and Acting Director Kerry can give more details. But at the moment, it's still a very unpredictable storm. It's moving very slowly. It's sort of wandering around. So we still need to take precautions, calm precautions. Let's not have any last-minute shopping. Folks should go and calmly top up their supplies, their provisions. We have information out on official channels of where you can get sandbags. The government will be meeting at 12:30 today to look over all the latest data, and then we'll try to make some firmer decisions.
Yeah, I mean, we were obviously watching it. And I don't know if you guys had an opportunity to see on yesterday's program that we had Brian Shields, Mr. Weatherman, come on. And he was, we enjoyed interviewing him for the first time. We're going to be doing a bit of a collaboration here with him on CMR, specifically CMR TV. But yeah, preparation is the focus right now. So everyone should be in preparation mode, not panic mode. There's a difference between preparation and panic.
Correct.
We just want everyone to, do what's required to prepare.
Be focused, start preparing, look at official sources.
Wonderful. All right, so let's dig into the SPS. We were talking about some of the broad areas, and I think we had left off with the first one, but let's just review so that our audience can catch and get up to speed. What are the broad areas then that are covered within the SPS?
Well, let's read them.
Yeah.
Education, broad outcome 1.
Mm-hmm.
Education, immigration, workforce development.
Mm-hmm.
Broad outcome 2, housing, infrastructure, environment. Broad outcome 3, economy. Broad outcome 4, health and social development. Broad outcome 5, Caymanian identity, culture, and heritage. Broad outcome 6, public services. Broad outcome 7, good governance and public safety.
Mm-hmm.
So as we have the Minister for Education, who quite rightly says at every opportunity, which is correct, education is the foundation. So you see it there not only in broad outcome 1, it's the first subject in broad outcome 1.
Yes.
And Sandra,
yes, Minister.
And just to say, the goal is for strong education and immigration systems that support highly skilled and adaptable Caymanian workforce. And Sandra, this is going back to what was announced 16 years ago. You'll remember when I rolled out with what was the national priority at that point, early childhood care and education. Well, guess what? What's going to be the focus again this term? Building early years. We don't need to continue to try to reinvent the wheel and start talking about, oh, we're going to do A-level colleges, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. My message to Caymanians is we cannot get lulled into good feelings of yesteryear because of how the system was structured when we went through the system. I went through sixth form at CIHS. I was one of those who was a backbencher when the government schools removed sixth form from the high school. And I openly as a backbencher got up and railed against the policy of the then Minister of Education because I felt at the time that it wasn't the right policy. Now, that decision was made. We are where we are now, and sometimes history actually produces an outcome that we don't anticipate. So I'll be the first to say that whilst at that point, that those were my feelings, given the fact that government never built schools, high schools in Cayman, and so prep and Catholic, where all of their students used to come and join us at third form, go all the way through the fifth form, and we all then went through sixth form together. And they then entered that space. We then wound up having two very systems that were alienated from each other. So you had the private British system schools, the public British school, which is a British system-based school, and the students stopped integrating, is the only way to put it. Now we have integration again because all Caymanian students who meet the academic criteria are fully funded at two of the world's best sixth form colleges. Two of the world's best, Sandra. Not just regionally best, two of the world's best sixth form colleges. And so why would we now take scarce resources of government and invest more money in students that are already soaring? They're already the highest achievers versus doubling down and making sure that we get things like ECAP to even younger ages. The goal of this government is that before the end of this term, we're going to have ECAP funding all the way down to children at 2 years old. We also want to ensure that we look at the income brackets, because right now, one of the disadvantages and weaknesses of the system is we look at income and the number of children a family has. However, what we didn't do is, or don't do, is we don't look at things like mortgages, etc., which is really, really, really what we need to start looking at, because that's what is going to cause the greatest impact for us. And so we know that the early intervention program is screaming for more resources, okay? They have told me loud and clear, look, we are struggling. We are not getting and meeting the needs of so many of our early learners who have developmental delays or special or additional education needs. And so if I now came to the country and said, oh, let's have a feel-good moment. We're now going to go compete with prep and Catholic sixth forms. And don't get me wrong, Sandra, think about this carefully. In our British system, first of all, we already have John Gray High School at 1,300. Clifton Hunter already basically at capacity. Where would we put a sixth form? That would mean we would have to expend significant capital expenditure to be able to even house it. Secondly, who's to say that we're going to have the quality teaching and learning that is required to match the outcomes that Caymanian children are getting right now at prep and Catholic?
Precisely.
Okay, we're now going to have to reinvent the wheel, because listen, hiring is a risk. Because someone has said that they've taught X subject or Y subject, doesn't mean we're going to drive and get the same results. So Sandra, we already have a system that is at the high end that is working. Dual entry allows our most able students to either go on to UCCI and start their associate's degree, or go to one of two of the world's best sixth form colleges and start and get their A-levels and move on to the British system. Our focus has got to be extending the range of services for our earliest learners so that we can start to, and that's going to be a long-term investment, Sandra. It's not a sexy thing to say, like saying, oh, let's bring back sixth form, and people my age are going to cheer and say, oh, yes, I remember those glory days.
Yes.
What we have to remember as adults is we need to be very systematic about the decisions we make. And I see the comment on the screen. That's right. The only way no one gets left behind is to invest in the early years. Making that foundation stronger. And so, Sandra, that is going to be the number one priority of this government. And in fact, I can tell you that there is a huge push for us to actually introduce a pre-reception year in some of our catchment areas. Right now, we have it in East End, and that covers East End Primary, Northside Primary, and we have it under BRAC. There's a huge void of provision of service in the Bodden Town catchment area. And so if the private sector isn't going to fill that void, then government is going to have to do something to assist those families in that area, just as a starter. But the first thing that we will do is continue to work closely with private centers. We know the challenges there are there, Sandra. Some of them want to be able to meet parents at a certain price point. And in doing so, that determines the level of staff that they're able to afford at that price point. And so that's why ECAP, the early intervention programs, early years programs, where did we fund parents in that pre-reception year and assist them with the cost of preschool. That is where we're going to have to focus. That is where we're going to have to continue to build resources so that by the end of this term, we can more than double the amount that we're currently spending. We're looking to increase that amount in this term by quadruple, sorry. We are doubling it in this budget. We're looking to quadruple that by the end of this term, because we know the research has proven 95% of human development happens before age 5. So what should we be doing? Doing exactly what high-performing systems like Finland, etc. do. Invest in the highest quality teaching and learning, have great early intervention programs to really give our children that foundation.
Yeah.
The second point on this is that has happened, and you've heard us talk about, is now at the other end of the spectrum, when we're transitioning our young people from the world of university to the world of work, we are going to complete the project that I started 12 years ago, which is to have a true national manpower database in collaboration with the Ministry of Caymanian Employment to ensure that employers have ready access to the information they need. Sandra, right now, our labor market is flying blind.
Yes.
They're begging us for the information. They're begging us to tell them who is coming back. But they shouldn't have to beg us in a technological age. We should have a database where every employer has to mandatorily register, have an account, and be able to access the critical information.
It's 2025.
Yeah,
this is just the joining of systems.
Yeah.
Yes.
It should all be automated at your fingertips. Bobby Smith coming out, has an accounting qualification. KPMG, that's your guy.
Yeah.
Sally Ebanks coming out. She's going to be a lawyer, a banker, HR, marketing, human resources. That's your girl.
Yeah. And so right now, we are not giving the private sector the type of information they need to have.
So a couple of questions and comments coming in. Before I get to this one from a teacher, Island Days says the private schools are performing way better than the public schools. We might be better off having prep take/manage the public schools, think charter schools. Results would be much better, I bet. Well, I know I'm personally not going to advocate for that because although I don't have any firsthand experience with prep, there are a lot of parents who do. And although prep's academic performance is very good, there's some other cultural issues and so on that perhaps prep isn't quite ready to take on anything. They need to focus on their own school and work on diversity and some other issues. So when you hear Minister people saying, most likely out of frustration, years of not having an effective education minister and chief officer in place, but when you hear them saying, oh, the solution is just to give it to private sector, make private sector fix it, what do you say to individuals who might think that way?
Well, first of all, Sandra, let's be very, very clear. The government has to accept every child. So all of those children who are in the IEP program, the early intervention program, wind up at government schools. They, very rarely do they end up at a private school, principally because private schools will tell you we don't have the support systems in place.
That's right.
Right. And so persons with special or additional education needs either wind up going through lighthouse type provisioning, or the creative provisioning that the principal at the Sir John A. Cumber Primary School came up with, which is to have an autism class and a full stream that is assisting while we still have to expand Lighthouse School. And so because the government system has to accept everyone, of course, when you look at the end result performances, you're looking at two different socio-demographic type of groupings. Government schools have everyone, whereas private schools typically have children who are coming from dual income households, dual parent households. A lot of those parents have already been college graduates themselves. And so that guidance, et cetera, that's happening from home looks a little different in terms of the range of challenges. Let me be clear about that. That the average student faces when you compare one to the other. I think you're 100% right, Sandra. We need to simply continue to focus on how we ensure that we build up our homes and support parents from the very earliest ages. But let me tell you, let's be very clear. You see, we don't like to share responsibility a lot of times in Cayman, and this is one of the points that that I've traditionally been tough on. School starts at home. Your first school is home. That is where you're going to learn to walk. That is where you learn to talk. And in reality, that's where you should learn to color. That's where you should learn to count. That's where you're supposed to learn a lot of the basics so that when you get to school or preschool, you are ready to learn. So as parents, we need to take more responsibility and ownership of our own children's education journey. Government should simply be the partner that helps get our children over the top.
Right.
And that has to be the message that we get all of our population to accept. And so
sorry. I had to give you a kaboom button there.
Kaboom. Hallelujah.
Let me
I didn't know you had hallelujah.
This is a new feature.
We've had that one, but I don't use them together. I accidentally pressed both, but that's divine intervention this morning. I'll 2025 agree.
Right. And the premier can tell us better than most because his mom was a teacher. As the premier can share just from that perspective, we need to have that type of sea change acceptance in Cayman. That is critically important. If all of us don't join and accept that we are all collectively responsible. It isn't just the government system. It isn't just government teachers or private teachers. It is about all of us accepting and embracing that responsibility. The other thing that we're going to do to try to lift and pull more parents in is we are going to be rolling out our national PTA. Because I'm in shock that 12 years later, after having called the very first meeting of PTA presidents and bringing them together, that we never made the extra step to form our national PTA. And in fact, just last month, I sent a delegation, the minister sent a delegation of consisting of a minister rep and one principal and 2 PTA presidents to the regional PTA conference. And so they've come back. They're very excited. They're forming their NPO. And so that's going to be a hugely important initiative that's going to be rolled out very, very shortly, because we want to strengthen all of our PTAs. Because the one thing that I've still seen, just as it was a few years ago, you got some very strong PTAs, and then you got some PTAs that are struggling. And we need to share best practice across the entire system. We should be able to go to every single school and see the exact same type of approach that one PTA has happening at all of our schools, so that best practice is consistent, Sandra. And if we can bring parents in and get more parental involvement, ensure that the communications between home and school are strong, you're going to see differences. But let me be very clear, Sandra, because one of the things that we do, no, let me put this in reverse. One of the things that we don't do well enough is actually talk about our government schools' achievements. The key thing is, Sandra, and listen, we have some of the most outstanding performers from our government system going on to UCCI early and going on to prep and Catholic A-level college. Okay? Where we are struggling, let's be clear, and this is why early childhood care and education has to be the priority. Where we're struggling is that bottom rung of our students who are underachieving. Those who, when you look at the home and you look at them, you say to yourself, why is this child getting a level 1 school leaving certificate when in fact they should have gotten a level 2? If we can push around 25% more of those students into level 2, we will then start to match the UK's standard in terms of how many children get 5 level 2 passes, including math and English. Let me be clear about another thing. Regionally, we don't manipulate data in Cayman. We give what is called true cohort data. We look at a cohort when they come into school and we report on that cohort at the end. What some systems do is they report on who they have entered for examinations. And that's easy to manipulate, Sandra. Here's how. Because unlike the US system where everyone goes through and it's their GPA, we have an external exam system. If you then artificially start to select which students get entered for exams, you then can manipulate the outcome. What do I mean by that, Sandra? Suppose every one of our students who went across the high school platforms and got their high school diplomas last week. Suppose we artificially just took 25, 30, 50% of them that got a level 1. And we said, you know what? We're just not going to enter them. And then all we report on is those who were entered for exams and use that as your statistic. We could manipulate that statistic very, very easily. But as you've heard, whilst our achievement in math has got to be improved, is a key focus area for us. But we are still beating the regional average, which actually is pretty scary when you talk about what the regional average is. And so we need to get more coaching, better teaching and learning, more stronger
Can I just pause you there, Minister, for a quick second, because that brings 2 comments that I saw to mind. One person said, why are we recruiting regionally? Perhaps we need more diversification in where we hire from. I'm just trying to see who made that comment. But one person made that. They said, listen, we are hiring the vast majority of our teachers from Jamaica. I've heard other teachers, they don't want to publicly say this, but low key, they said, we've hired people who don't even have the technological, that was IL 2025, thank you, don't even have the technological skills to turn on a whiteboard and to do all these things, but yet we hire them and we expect them to perform and do certain things. So IL 2025 says, I also think hiring teachers from the Caribbean is part of the problem. Why not hire from the UK instead of Jamaica? Somebody else, I think, mentioned it a bit later on about, which is sort of the other side, that they think the outcomes are exceptional. So Trish says, until we get it together, Jamaica will still receive her children, offering a more stringent agenda and syllabus. The outcome is exceptional. Well, both of those things cannot be true. And based on what you have just said about what's happening regionally in terms of the potential manipulation of data, that makes me wonder if it's as exceptional as some people think.
Well, we just need to, we all of us have social interactions with a range of our Caribbean neighbors. Take those social interactions and start to understand that they're coming from an education system somewhere else. That ought to be your barometer, or part of your barometer of what achievement is like regionally. Let me address the question head on, Sandra. One of the things that has happened over the last few years is our recruitment out of the UK to save monies was being done on Zoom. What the team has reported to me is that there has been a direct correlation between the decline in number of candidates out of the UK who we attract in the first place, much less land as a final preferred candidate in post, has declined consistently since we went to the model of using technology versus going to the UK, which they used to do when I was minister, and actually spending 2 weeks in the UK on the ground, actually recruiting face to face. Premier made this point the other day. There are times where technology is great, but there are times where that face to face contact, you can't beat it. And this, I believe, is one. And so I have said to the team that we need to return to ensuring that areas that we want to specifically target and increase our number of teachers from, we're going to have to go and get on the ground again and actually recruit. Now, are we still going to advertise to get all the word out, use technology, use the education type magazines to advertise our needs, but get on the ground, because we do need to diversify our teaching base. There's no doubt about that.
And
All right.
I'm glad you raised this, because it goes into wider areas. We'll do as much as we can for cost savings electronically. So Zoom and Teams call happen all the time.
Yes.
Earlier this week, because of the post-election seminar that's happening, and shout out to Speaker Ezra Miller for arranging a Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. We have a visiting delegation. Bermuda is here, Scotland is here, the island of Jersey is here, Trinidad is here. I could not leave that, because this is a very important. Plus, we had the chamber luncheon. So the Caribbean Overseas Territories meeting that's in the BVI, I joined by Zoom. So it happens all the time, is my point. But there are other instances that when Minister Anglin just said, where we do have to spend the money to travel, not because you actually are busier on the road.
Yeah.
Because you're still trying to keep up with Cayman and then focus on what you're doing overseas.
Yep.
But sometimes it's very, very difficult to really get a strong understanding and develop the relationships unless you're on the spot and in person. So you can look the person in the eye, form that professional relationship, get as much information as you can, and bring it back to the country. Provided every minister and official that travels can come back with a solid set of deliverables of what was achieved, the country is getting value for money.
Yes.
Okay. We do have a caller on the line. Can we grab this call? But before we do that, ministers, I don't know if you've heard about the new challenge here that we have on our morning show. Every hour that we're sitting down on the morning show, we now have to get up and do some squats. Now, I'm not going to necessarily require the two of you to do them, because I know you're mic'd up, but if you wish, you can certainly do so. But we're going to take the call. And while the caller is speaking, I want to remind my audience, I've not forgotten, because I know some of y'all were hoping I forgot. Please get up out of your chairs. I don't care where you're working, GAB, Deloitte, wherever. You need to get up now, wiggle a little bit, and we're going to do squats. So do as many as you can. I'm going to aim for, I did 40 already. I'm going to aim
40.
for Yes.
Wow.
I'm
Wow.
getting
She's
25.
getting rid of people for the She's going to be your mom.
This is getting serious.
Yeah, when that knee ready, boy. Come on. But I'm gonna aim for 25. So we're gonna take the call, and I want you guys to report in. It's all about accountability. I want you guys to report in terms of how many you've done in the chat. In the meantime, let's take the caller, and then I'll stand up and do my 25. Good morning, caller, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, honey.
Good morning, Mr. Amelia. Are you doing your squats in the morning with us?
Honey, child, I'm laying out in my bed right now.
Shameful.
I'm resting up. I'm resting up for later. I have a seniors retreat. We're taking some of our seniors to East End this afternoon.
Okay.
Until Monday, God's willing. So I'm just resting up for that event.
All right. What you got for us this morning?
Okay. Regarding our school situation, I want to know why is it that it was allowed for expatriates to be able to take their children out of private schools and put into our government schools.
And which expats have done that? Where is that information coming? Where is that information coming from? Which expats have done that?
Which you child that's why some of the primary schools are hurting right now because
I don't think that's true, but let's find out from the minister. The minister should have the facts.
I think it was under minister. Oh, sorry, forgive me, my manners, minister and premier. Oh my God, please don't shoot me, premier. Forgive my manners.
I'm generally not in the habit of shooting people.
Oh my goodness! All right, so let's stop there.
Okay,
but before we go, just a second, Mr. Amelia, before we go down that rabbit hole, right? Because you've made a statement, and I think that we need to first verify the accuracy of that statement. Because if that statement isn't true, probably the rest of what you're about to say is neither here nor there. Minister Anglin, set us straight now.
While we verify that, can we also verify that Sandra's actually doing squats?
Yes.
I mean, how do we know?
Accountability.
Where's the accountability here? I thought this was the cold hard truth.
Okay, yeah.
I was being kind and turning off the camera so I could get in there, but no, I'm on number 15 now, so I'm doing it.
All right. Well, all right. Hold you to it.
Wanted to make sure.
Go ahead, Romelia. Go ahead. Let's go.
No,
Go for it.
Minister, answer the question. Have we seen an influx of private school students going into government school? I mean, I don't think that's actually happened, but you tell us the facts.
So there's been a convergence of three different factors. First, I made public a statement, Sandra, a few weeks ago, and I'm getting the actual data verified student by student. We have 987 non-Caymanian students in our system. It represents 16% of our student population. The vast majority on the initial data that I have been presented are actually children of teachers, police officers, prison officers, and healthcare professionals at HSA.
Right.
There is a policy, there's a standing policy in place, and this was a part of what is accepted in most countries, which is when a teacher goes into a system, for the most part, they're given a preferential treatment around their child. So right now in every private school that I know of, at least, every teacher has a package, and part of that package is maybe their first child is tuition free, the next one is 50% off, and then if they have any more after that, they pay the full fee. So they do that to try to enhance the package that their teacher is given, right?
Yes.
Then, so we have that piece of it. There had been a historic provisioning that civil servants generally, but in particular police officers, prison officers, and nursing staff were given preferential treatment because historically they were some of the lowest paid civil servants, and that was a part of what was accepted as their package. I can tell you that the Commissioner of Police told me a couple of weeks ago that he lost a recruit when the Minister of Education sent out a communication to all agencies to tell them they must not contractually bound our system by guaranteeing any new recruit a spot in our system, because we can't simply accommodate those growing numbers. Okay? The other fact that is inescapable, the vast majority, and I'm basing this now, and again, we're going to get the data so that I can come to the public, first of all, come to caucus, so I give my caucus a complete update. My colleagues truly get this information buttoned up and bedded down to the last student. But I can tell you, based on the requests that I have gotten over the summer, there is another chunk of students that are non-Caymanians that's in the system. And it's Caymanians who have married persons from other countries. They have then brought the child to Cayman as a dependent. Some are in the process of adopting those children, so they're going to become Caymanian children in any event. But a lot of them are still not adopted formally, but the Caymanian male or what have you has taken responsibility for the child and now is trying to register the child. And a lot of those families can't afford private schools. Now, I can say that there was a significant number of children in that category that were declined this school year. So people have seen that the 987. The fact is, if we were to accept everyone that applied, that 987 would easily double or perhaps quadruple. But this notion that our system is overrun by non-nationals who are here is simply not fact. Let me give the third strand to this. We have granted somewheres around, the report on status grants was at 5,000, I think it is, over the last X number of years. I think it's like 10 years.
Yes.
And then there's a tons in PR category that are on their way to status. So the other thing that people are observing is persons who have recently been granted Caymanian status. Guess what happens? And this is what I think Mr. Romelia is talking about. A person gets Caymanian status, but had their child in a private school, because at that point, the child had to be in private school because they were non-Caymanian. A lot of those have then been able to transition over because they've then gone down to immigration because the child was born here or been here for the vast majority of their lives and get their children status on the basis that they now have a Caymanian status holder parent. And so that is a reality of what I see on the ground. But as I said, right now, the ministry staff are going through to ensure that we have absolute accurate data to report to the country on this. Part of the reason we're getting the data as well is that I also am of the belief, and I've told my caucus colleagues, we are going to put together a package for teachers that would look like the private sector, i.e. there'll be some benefit in terms of fees. Right now, Sandra, high school students that are non-Caymanians are charged $400 per term. Not per month, Sandra. Let me give this a reference point. Triple C, for example, is around $1,000 a month. We're charging $400 per term. Break that down, that's about $125 a month. Okay? Throw on top of that, once you're in the system, free access to the one-to-one device policy, busing, etc. And we will all know that the cost per student, even if we take out special and additional education needs, the cost per student is way higher than that. And so one of the things that I'm looking at is we are going to increase those fees for anyone who has children in the government schools that are non-Caymanians as well. And so I need the data because I need to understand what that population actually looks like before you can make a policy position. So we're doing some good research and we're going to be able to come to the public in the next couple of weeks and say, we have the headline number, which is the 987, but here is how it's actually broken down.
Breakdown. Yes.
Yes. And because we need to demystify this point. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Amelia, hopefully that helps explain some of that.
Yes, it did, that one. But I also I used to visit the Georgetown Primary School. I had grandkids there before they moved up to West Bay. And I would visit the school and the classrooms. And I know for a fact that the classrooms are overcrowded with students. All the students do not get the equal attention. I've noticed at times there would be a group of children being attentive to what teacher is saying, while 1, 2 is playing around or walking out the classroom, roaming around the grounds, and are left alone. And I think that no child should be left behind. And I feel that this is due to overcrowding, and they can't pay attention to all students. And I know some of them have a behavior problem. But at the end of the day, those said children that have a behavior problem should be in a special class and not disrupting the class that is actually taking place. So we have gone overboard significantly with overcrowding in each classroom. I think that needs to be sorted, and the outcome of that, we have children in high school right now who can't even spell school, much less ball, who are coming from these said primary schools, going into high school, can't even spell ball or school. So that is where we find that overcrowding our classrooms isn't working. It should, for me, it should be a certain amount of students in no more per a classroom. And I have teachers complaining about that as well. I also have teachers complaining or brought to my attention of the hiring situation where they were hiring a lot of Seventh-day Adventist teachers, and all they had to do was go online and do a course and present that pass to the person that doing the hiring, and they were hired. And I even had, letters wrote where children have been declining with this type of action because they have no experience of being a teacher or anything. But I was very pleased and happy when minister stated that they have to have some teaching background, and being they're supposed to have some teaching background, who screened these people, especially at Georgetown, at Marie Martin Primary School now, who just lately been hired, who screened them to see what teaching background they have, or it is actually a fact that if they gone online and do one course and were hired due to they were Seventh-day Adventist teachers.
All right, leave me there, Miss Amelia. Before we continue, Minister, you mentioned, and I think this is a good opportunity now to put this out there. You mentioned that, there's a lot that's happening in education that is amazing, that's wonderful. And your wins are not being celebrated. Your wins are not being put out in the public. So for the benefit of our audience, I've mentioned before that the various government ministries have an opportunity to become part of the CMR TV family and have their own shows. And the Ministry of Education and Training is on board. And so they will have a Ministry Matters show dedicated to education. And I can tell you, based on this show, this entire show could be about education this morning. Yeah, because this demonstrates how the people of the Cayman Islands do care about education, how we know that, yes, there are issues, and the minister is fully committed. He's been doing a lot already. So, Minister, it just sounds like we need to start organizing your Ministry Matters segments and have you specifically on here on a regular basis to just make sure that you're constantly, and I know you've said that you definitely want this as well, to constantly engage with the people, because in order for us to elevate our education standards, do better by, our Caymanian teachers, etc. We now have a minister and team in place that are willing to work for the people. And so we just need to know more about what's going on, but the people are here for it. So yeah, good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra.
Good morning, dear. How are you? I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Quick question for the minister. I noticed at Christian Hunter, there's supposed to be another academy that is supposed to be built. could he say if it is going to or not?
Another academy. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, because there's supposed to be. I think it's a yellow academy.
So does that mean another physical building? Is what you're saying?
Maybe because there's a lot of space that could be. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So we building in education, yes.
So Sandra, one of the things that we're looking at right now across the entire system is how much capital works do we need over the 4 years, and then we have to prioritize them. The call is quite right. That school has traditionally would have had a fourth academy, and so that is critically important to us. In my opinion, right now, more important is Lighthouse School. Lighthouse School has to be this government's #1 priority, because right now we're having to actually send children to private institutions like Hope. And thank God we got an alternative like a Hope Academy, who actually should be at Lighthouse School. And so Lighthouse School has been bursting at the seams for years. And so we need to ensure that we get that expansion. Equally, and here's where the competing priorities come in. We know we need additional classrooms at Sir John Cumber. We know we need additional classroom spaces and some more modern learning spaces at Marie Martin. I'm well aware and cognizant that we need some more modern learning spaces at East End Primary, in the Ball Primary School. So you get the point, Sandra. There is right now the active discussions internally about all of our capital works. And what I'm left to do now is I'm going to have to come up and rank those, because you have to rank them. You can't, we don't have the privilege and financial flexibility to build all of them at once, right? And the truth is, I don't think our economy can accommodate that anyway. We saw the 2005-9 when we tried to build 2 major high schools at the same time, and we saw how well that went. So we need to prioritize, but yes, in the mix will be a 4th academy at Clifton Hunter. Absolutely.
One ancillary point I wanted to make, Sandra, going back this offshoot of the point Romelia made, is there's also probably scope for Minister Rankin to come on to explain more about social services. Because when Minister Ralston and I backed up Minister Rankin at his East End district meeting, and then just this week at our West Bay district meeting, the point comes up, similar to education, why are social services, particularly DFA, funding going towards non-Caymanians? The point there is that with the influx of status grants, the law has now been firmly placed, the provision has been firmly placed in the Financial Assistance Act that the service is for Caymanians. So once you are legally Caymanian, if you're in the department line and you may come across someone who maybe don't look like Ralston,
Or sound like.
just sound like Ralston, don't look like Andre, but they may in fact be legally Caymanian. So the department does a very good job of scrutinizing, because they will be held to account, not just by the ministry, but even by the Auditor General, to show that they are only delivering services to people who are legally Caymanian. But the people have migrated to the country, and over the time, because of which then segues to the other half of broad outcome is immigration. We now have this larger population of Caymanians. DFA is not able to say no. So we also needed then a show to then discuss the immigration reform changes, because what part of that broadly is seeking to achieve is better protection for Caymanians in the workforce, getting Caymanians from the entry level job up to the executive level job, and then ensuring that where you do need necessary overseas labor, it works efficiently, and then better population management control and a different methodology of how you become, well, first, the first gate, you get to PR, and then second, how you get treasured status. But at the moment, inheriting what we've inherited, the department can't turn away someone who is legally Caymanian or getting a service because they're the parent of a Caymanian child. That is the most of the scenario.
Yes.
The very limited circumstances where there's an emergency for domestic abuse or a fire, that may include a non-Caymanian, but that is a very, very small fraction of the percentage that the Department of Financial Assistance helps in an extenuating circumstance.
Right. All right. We've got over
Yes.
500 people still tuned in to the program. Numbers growing really by the minute. And we do have some WhatsApp questions that we are going to get to hopefully before you guys leave us this morning. But we do have a caller.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Caller, quick question or comment for us this morning?
Good morning, Sandra.
Good morning.
Good morning to the Honorable Premier and the Honorable Minister of Finance and Education. Yeah, I think it comes in that order. Anyway, good morning. I have a question for both. I think I'd like to ask the Premier question first. And you don't have to answer me while I'm on. They can answer me, after I'm gone, unless you wanted to interact. But I remember, at least during the campaign season, the now Premier campaigned on the national ID cards. So I would like to know if he intends to carry through on that, and hopefully he will. I would encourage that. I'm really hoping for that. And as we see more and more what's happening here, I think that he would agree that we do need it. So that's the question to him. And to the Minister of Education, it's probably not so much a question, but want to say to him again, congratulations. And also, maybe he could remind some of your listening audience who might be too young to know that he is a product of the public school system, and he could name out some of the other outstanding citizens in Cayman who went through the public school systems. And also that our children respond to not the UK teachers or American teachers or Canadian teachers. They respond much better to teachers that come from the region. And that is a proven fact. I also went through the public school system. And I'll tell you what, I would have gotten lost if it hadn't been for, and I include my Caymanian teachers in that. I would have gotten lost if I didn't have Caymanian teachers and other teachers from teachers from the other regions in the Caribbean. It has been proven, we as Caymanians, we don't respond to that culture shock, and especially when it comes to trying to teach us. So,
thank you.
I would ask the minister to please put in some incentives. I'm sorry, some incentives. I'm so sorry. Some incentives.
You need some of this moringa turmeric tea I'm having this morning to the incentive. Is that incentivize?
Yes, some incentive. That's right.
Yes.
So that we can attract more Caymanians to consider teaching as a career. We have lost our Caymanian teachers, and I think that's when we were most effective.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And I know that the ministry staff for the Minister of Education is taking notes this morning because we have so many comments in relation to education that we can't get to them all. But I'll know that they'll go through and jot down some of these questions and comments. We do have one from a teacher that kind of piggybacks on what Miss Brenda was saying. I think it's worth reading now. This person says, when is Ralston planning to talk to the Caymanian teachers? It's such an important question. They actually typed it twice. First at 8:13, then at 8:22. So they want to know that. And then they go on to say a few other thoughts. The reason why you're not getting quality teachers is because there is no performance-based pay increases and no accountability for teachers who don't perform. So there's no incentive to perform and no disincentive for non-performance. I'm what benefits they plan to have in place to retain Caymanian teachers, especially those on their way out. So this person's actually thinking about exiting the system, I think, after some 20 years because they've just had enough. They go on to say that I don't have any children, so reduced fees won't sway me. Tangential to Ms. Ramilia's question, what does the minister plan to do with the students who are just disruptive elements in the school? They just don't want to learn. They just want to create mischief and mayhem. Kaboom to Ms. Ramilia. SDA teachers, especially those that are Jamaicans, get preferential treatment when it comes to promotion and support. Sandra, please ask my questions for me.
So, Sandra.
Yes, sir.
Just in terms of just housekeeping, maybe what we could do is go through a few of the questions that have popped up, maybe take one or two more, and then we'll have some closing comments because Danny Coleman and Acting Director Carrie said, I really want to get the public information on Melissa.
Yes.
Notwithstanding that you can't see it off camera, but Danny is yawning because she's been up all night. I think she should do squats before she comes on. 20 squats, so revive yourself before you come on. The public needs you fresh, Danny. So in terms of the caller's question, yes, the digital ID, the EID is moving forward. I think we had a briefing just this week in caucus. That work is being pushed forward. The bills and the legislation was laid in the last term by myself, but the work is now being carried out and operationalized under the leadership of Minister Isaac Rankin, under the Ministry of Innovation. It's hugely important. We need a document that can be in your hand that says you are Caymanian. There's nothing in anybody's wallet, purse, back pocket, shoe, sock that says you are Caymanian in one document. It then gives us the opportunity to put in place a procedure so that you don't have to then go and do this acknowledgement foolishness that turns everybody off. So that piece of work is moving forward. And then I think the second question was in relation to education.
Right. So let me say that unfortunately, like I think the caller said that she's sure I can agree. I actually am not in agreement about how Caymanian students respond to different nationalities of teachers. Yes, I went to the Cayman Islands High School, now the John Gray High School, and yes, there's wonderfully achieved Caymanians like Ann Owens in the Ministry of Finance, Michael Nixon in the Ministry of Finance, Baron Jacobs, partner at EY, Lucinda Hisler, partner, managing partner at Deloitte. These are all people that went to sixth form with me alone. So there's tons of my friends that I can point out that are high achievers. People who know me know that I say a good public education system is the great social equalizer. Hence the reason we're so focused, laser focused on improving outcomes in public education, because we know that is the key to upward mobility is a sound foundation, a sound educational foundation. And that's whether it's pure on the academic track or on the trades and tech track. Whichever track a Caymanian is enabled and moves towards, we need to build a system that supports them so that they can be a world-class practitioner in whatever their chosen field. Having said that, I can tell the world that Mr. Peter Dutton, God bless his soul, not the Peter Dutton from Jake Scott. So let me not shake everyone up and think that he's passed on. But there was a legendary teacher in our system. His first qualified accountant student was Mr. Roy McTaggart. And that man produced, if you go through the who's who in the big four accounting firms, including everyone that I've just mentioned, and I can throw in the Rohan Smalls, the Peter Smalls, etc. of the world. All of us, the Dan Scotts, all of us passed through Mr. Peter Dutton's hands, and he was an English gentleman. He headed up business studies in the Cayman Islands High School for a long time, and we all responded extremely well to him. I responded extremely well to my math teacher, my favorite subject, Mrs. Jones. So I don't want to get into this nationality thing about how Caymanians respond. I think children respond to those who show them love, care, and attention, and is a great teacher. And I don't care where they come from. If you're a great practitioner, you are going to be able to get children to respond to you and respond favorably to you. And note how the diversity of opinion, Sandra. Here you have one caller saying, oh, no, we should just get regional. And you've seen the number of messages you've gotten saying we need to recruit more broadly. And so what is the answer? A diversified teaching base should be one of our strengths. That's my opinion, and that's, I think, an opinion that would be shared by a lot of people. Let us get to school visits. And so I thank the author. I don't know how long they've been in the system or whether they were in the system in my first tour of Judah as Minister of Education, but I'll go through it again. I am going to be visiting every single school, and all of the tours are going to be identical in format. We're going to do a general tour in which we'll invite elected members to come so that they can tour their schools. Then I will meet separate, myself and the chief officer will meet separately with the senior management team at the school to get the principal and the senior team's view. No Department of Education will be present, because I felt from the very first time we did this, and it yielded us great results, because that's how we drove all of the school improvement plans that we had and system improvement plans. A principal is a human being, and so they will be less apt to perhaps be as open as and frank as they would if their direct supervisor is sitting there, that is senior school improvement officers and or the director of education services. And so we're going to be doing that again. We're going to then in all of the teaching body, we will meet with all teachers without the principal present, because using the same approach, we want teachers to feel very free and open to speak to us about their experiences and what is happening at schools and what their suggestion is at schools. Sandra, another innovation that I started in 2009 to 2013 that is going to be doubled down upon is a principals consultative council, where we take all major policy reforms and interventions and we let the principals have it first, speak to their staff, and then give us feedback before we roll out or implement anything. It's critically important that we value our teachers and their collective experience. They represent thousands of years of teaching experience. So why should the ministry and or the department come up with a policy and just simply roll it out and dictate it to schools? And so if we have that sort of collaboration, that gives us the greatest possibility. Now, let me then also segue into, I started public schools in 1977. The majority of my teachers were not Caymanians, and that was from 1977. We need to stop imagining this Cayman. Now there are older persons that in their time, because of the town hall type schools that you had the Genevieve Bordens, etc., who were Caymanians and Caymanian teachers. By the time I entered the system, the majority of teachers were non-Caymanians. We have been trying to pay catch up for decades. We have a small population. Within each leaving class of a school, of a high school, there's only so many people that are going to be interested in teaching, whether we paid a person $1 million a year. There are just some people that are not, they're just going to look on and they want to be an accountant. They want to be a lawyer. They want to be a mechanic. They want to be this. They want to. What we're doing, and we've rolled out a new refreshed teacher recruitment campaign, is we are going to double down on our efforts. One of the things that we are going to be bringing to the table is further enhancing the scholarship differential between teaching and other professions. Because right now there is a difference. 35,000 if you're in education, 30,000 if you're in a regular scholarship. Again, government trying to show by the actual money you get for a scholarship that we value education and we want more teachers. So listen, there's going to be a lot of effort, but one of the real frustrations we have in a growing community has been the fact that we are a small population, and by the time you get the numbers of Caymanian students who are interested in all the various professions, it winds up being a relatively small number because of our smallness. That's not an excuse. That is just a fact. That's a numbers fact. But we are going to double down on getting more Caymanians into our school system. In regards to, and I saw the comment come up on the screen a few times, Sandra, and you know me, I tackle thorny issues. Yes, I have had complaints around certain types of preferential treatment that has existed from the ministry down to schools. What I can tell the listening audience is we have an extremely competent chief officer and deputy chief officers who have gotten similar feedback, and they are working very hard to ensure that if any of that exists, it's rooted out, because there's no place for that in our system. Lastly, I rolled out a national standards for teaching and national standards for assessment of teachers. I am still going to be doubling down on what message I send to the ministry staff and principals. Less than optimal teachers have to be managed out of our system, because I know that there's been a culture, and I can say, because I heard it with my own two ears, I know that there's been a culture around some principals of being hesitant to not have a contract renewed because, quote unquote, they don't want to take bread out of anyone's mouth. The fact is, any teacher that is not delivering is going to impact the 20 to 22 children that are in front of them. And so we need to have the very best and try to recruit the very best, but certainly anyone that's underperforming, have a real robust performance management system so that all of our teachers are fairly graded and not just have this salami approach where everyone gets rewarded, and therefore those who work a little bit harder gets discouraged because they look to their left or right and see someone that may not working as hard as them, but getting the equal reward.
It's deflating.
Very deflating.
It's deflating.
Yeah.
So
and I can tell you that, definitely the teachers, the Caymanian teachers in particular, but even, the non-Caymanian teachers are saying the exact same thing. Why am I going to put in the extra effort when all of us are going to be making $5,000 a month no matter what we do? So we do have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program. Hello, caller. Hello. Yes, you fell asleep on us? What's going on? Sounds like this caller needs to do more squats. I can't hear you. All right. You missed your
Sandra,
chance.
while we're waiting on that, the message that you have up on the screen, I've saw two comments around this, and I'm not sure what I said that may have been misinterpreted. Because the comment says, it all goes back to what I said earlier, SEN, special education needs children, should not be mixed with disabled children. Let's be very, very clear. Words are important. Terms are important. When a child gets assessed and they are deemed to have either an AEN, an additional education need, a special education need, they are then adjudged to be on a specific range. It's only at a certain range that you would then be qualified to be at Lighthouse School. Now, let's go to the other end of this that is a struggle. You read the comment where a commenter made the point that what about children who are being disruptive? They shouldn't be in the same school. So a lot of people still have this concept that disruptive children, we should always have this way of just segregating them. What best practice has shown, go to Finland, go to all the major systems. What they do is people who are disability mild, etc., who should be in mainstream are mainstreamed. What we need to do a better job at is a number of things. One, we need to double down on our provisioning of professional development around teaching for learning and behavior for learning. We need to ensure that the assistant teachers and senior support aides that are in classrooms are the very top quality to add to that classroom environment and ensure that we're not having children be disruptive and therefore negatively impacting all those others who want to learn. But we also need to have the capacity at school campuses where it is appropriate, whether it's for a day, a half day, a week, or whatever, that when the principal and the senior management team and the special education needs coordinator meet, if you have a child who does need to have more one-on-one, and again, this is another area that we need to invest, Sandra. This is why I keep saying to people, let's forget, we have great A-level colleges. Our our monies need to go on early years and those children with that just mild special or additional education need, so that we can get more support for them on school campuses, keep them in mainstream, be able to segregate them sometimes, but on their campus. To give them that support so that they could be that child that wound up getting a level 1 certificate, but wound up with, because you heard a number of principals say this, Premier, that don't look at all those level 1 students. In fact, at Clifton Hunter, 30% of persons who got a level 1 pass actually had enough level 2 passes, but they didn't have math and English to get their level 2. So a lot of those children are achieving, and a lot of those would fall into those categories where just that little bit of additional attention
and
can get them over the hump.
And isn't this what a couple of the NGOs in particular, NPOs in particular, are pushing for?
Yes.
That inclusion.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the approach.
Yes. And so we are going to be doubling down on our efforts. I know that school buildings are going to be needed. The government is looking at that closely so that we can come up with a robust capital development plan over the 4-year term to be able to accommodate the teachers, the students in our growing population, especially schools like Red Bay, Prospect, Sir John A. Campbell Primary School, that are all challenged with the numbers that we have. And I know the point. We do need to have some enhanced school spaces. There's no doubt about that.
So Sandra,
yes,
we're gonna have to run. Minister Kathy is speaking at a health conference.
Yes,
it's at the Ritz, and I need to run down there and show my face. And
do some squats before you run, because you might hurt yourself.
So I'll give the minister a chance for some closing comments, maybe just around what to expect in Parliament, the dates again, how, because in this case, last time I laid the SPS motion. This time he's bringing the appropriation bill.
Right.
So just like if I bring the company's bill or the partnerships bill, he's now bringing the bill. So he will then speak first. I'll let you wrap up. Maybe give that order of events and how the other ministers and PSs will contribute. Then I'll have some closing comments. We'll break for a moment and then let Danny and team come on to brief the country on Melissa.
Yeah.
Thanks, Premier. And Sandra, another great show. And you're right. We got the broad outcome one, Premier.
We got the half of one. And we touched on it.
I know. Oh my God. Yeah.
So I saw a comment come up, and I did. My apologies. I did miss one bit of my school tours, and an author did say it. Yes, I do meet also with the student council. So at every school that has a student council, I also meet with the student council to get feedback from children. So my apologies for excluding that for as a piece of what we do in all of our schools. We'll be doing in all of our school tours. But as the Premier said, November 5th is a big day for the government, big day for the country. It's budget day. And so we are going to be bringing a robust, truthful, honest budget to the country. I look forward to finalizing the work with the team and getting all the documentation in place so that we're ready for November 5th. As the Premier said, I'll be leading off with the presentation of the budget and the budget address, and then all members will get to contribute. And so you will see that for the strategic policy statement, not a lot of members spoke. And that's mainly because it is the overall strategy for the government, and therefore the Premier brings the overall strategy. This is our strategy position as to how we're going to govern. Now it's the numbers, the detailed numbers of how we're going to fund that strategy position. And then we go into Finance Committee, because that's a committee of the whole House that considers the budget in detail and questions me on finance and education. They'll question the Premier on his areas of responsibility. They get to then question every minister on their area of responsibility with whatever questioning they have. And then once the committee ends, the committee then recommends the bill back to the House, and we vote on the appropriation bill. And then, last but by no means least, after the Premier and I and some others get back from the Joint Ministerial Council meeting, we're then going to have probably about a weekish where we have to bring the actual revenue measure bills, because a number of them do need parliamentary approval, not just cabinet approval, to give effect to some of those revenue measures.
Yes.
All
Thank
right,
you.
very good. One quick question, Premier, before you leave. Someone said, ask Andre why he hasn't hired a press secretary to disseminate information about what the government is doing and speak on their wins.
To be as cost effective and prudent as possible, we have had a seconded officer from the Department of Communications who's head of comms in the office of the Premier. So you don't have to have an additional body. But more to the point, seeing what we're doing here, we want each minister to deliver their wins, their achievements, answer questions directly to the public than through another officer the government hires. So I think Minister Anglin has greatly wrapped up the summary. As you can see, it brought outcome one, probably 85%, 90% of the show was just education, which is a topic on its own. We've got to come back for immigration, workforce development. The bill is out, so we're going to get some folks on here for that. There's a whole other wide range of topics that we could go through. So as each minister delivers what they are trying to achieve for the country from their specific areas in Parliament, we should then have a series of discussions to get into more detail for public dissemination. Because even then, each minister under the standing orders only has 2 hours to speak. So there's only so much you can still cover. I think we'll need to have a series. Like I'd love to come in and have a series just on financial services and demystify some of it. Because I think I still hear things when I go do talks in schools.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we've actually delivered exactly how powerful the industry is and how much it's contributing for Cayman. So that's just one topic. Tourism is another. The DP and Minister Jay are at a Florida Caribbean Cruise Association. Great deliverables from the phone calls we've had with them of how cruise can improve. Lots of information to deliver to the public directly from ministers rather than through officers. So thank you. We'll take a break now. God bless you. We'll bring Danny and Acting Director Carrie on. Be safe. Be calm. Top up. Get your provisions. Will be the long and short of what they're going to say. They'll get into more specific. But pray for these Cayman Islands every day. God bless.
Thank you so much and have a good and safe weekend. Folks, while we pull them out and allow the switchover to happen, this is a great opportunity to get up and do your squats. Minister Anglin, I'm going to expect you to do some squats off camera, but let's go ahead and do it. We got a comment here. Someone said, thanks for sticking to the schedule with the squats. That's why we don't lose weight. We don't stick to anything. Stopping your camera is a good idea too. Yeah, with the ministers on, I didn't, because I'm not adjusting my camera every time I do it. That would be a bit much. But yes, I didn't want them to necessarily see my waistline. So, less important when it's just me and you all. But I can stop it. I can turn the camera off. Maybe we'll do a little like a holding plate there where we can kind of watch something else. I feel like, you know what we need? We probably need some good squatting music. You know what I mean? So we can do something like this. Let me show you. I can have one of these done, like a little thank you, but do a little exercise squatting person there as we do our squats. But I don't mind showing you guys to prove that I'm doing it, and also for you guys to help me count, because sometimes I'm talking and I lose count of where I was. So, okay. All right. Thank you so much. Ms. Andrews says, really good show. It's reassuring to have a government that speaks to the Caymanian community with facts and logic. This is refreshing. Here's hoping that this government continues this level of engagement. Let me squat on that with the people of these islands. Another thing you can do is you can do a holding squat, where you squat and you hold it. Ooh, those hurt, honey child. So you don't come back up. You just hold it. And these you can do really, really well. In fact, I'm going to do the modification of this for the 20 count. You can do these leaning up against a wall to give you a little bit of support. So I'm going to go down and just hold my squat. Yeah, we need some squatting music for sure. Next week, I'll sort it out for next week. Oh my God, this is the burn. All right, I want you guys to do this with me. Don't come back up. Just go down in the squat and hold it for your 20 seconds. So let's count. Oh, honey child, this is burning. All right, one. You got to do the 100 because then you count too fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if I can make it to 25. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, this is so much harder. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh, I can barely make it. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and bring it up. Oh my God. That one simple change made it so much more difficult. Okay, but we're going to elevate ourselves. So yes, wow. That's why, the body has a funny way, your physical body, of adjusting quickly to things. So modifications are important. My little heart beating, honey, chill. Damien says, can we do Biden squats? Damien, I'm not quite sure what's wrong with you this morning. I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt that you're just having a menopausal moment, an off day, because I've seen you in the comment section name calling people, insulting people, and I'm pretty sure that you have been here long enough to know that Auntie's not going to allow you to do that under no circumstances. I'm going to give you a pass today because, like I said, I don't know, PMS, menopause, Friday the 13th, which it isn't. I don't know what's going on with you. Get yourself together. Get your act together and behave yourself. Otherwise, the block button will be executed. And you know that once you get blocked, you're blocked for life. Okay? So maybe if you're not in the mood, I suggest you extract yourself from the show. Go for a walk. That will help. Walks are good, exercise good, increases your dopamine levels, all that good stuff. All right. So we're going to switch the conversation now, folks. And thank you all for staying with us and for doing your squats. How did you guys feel? Oh, Lavana says, Lord, I feel that one in my knees, right? That holding the squat position is harder. Whoa. All right. So let's go ahead and congratulate Lavana. Said I managed to do 30 with my bad hip. I can't wait to get my surgery so I can go back to walking exercises. Oh, you're going to get there, girl. You're well on your way. I know the back has been doing better, but it takes time when you have serious injuries like this. But let's switch now to Tropical Storm Melissa. Melissa seems like she is temperamental. And so we have the experts here who are going to be joining us to talk a little bit about Melissa. We've got a caller on the line. Good morning, caller. You're going to talk about Melissa?
Yes. Sandra,
yes.
I called back just to say, and if I did say what the minister responded to what he thought I said, let me correct or state now what I said. When I said to him that I think he would agree, and perhaps he could even say to your listening audience, and obviously you can tell me because you can play that. It was the part about our public schools, the productive citizens, including himself, that they have produced. That's what I said, or at least that's what I meant to say, that he could agree to, and not about the diversification of teachers. And just to show you where we all differ, he mentioned a teacher there that I happened to have when I was in high school, and by no means was I a remedial, okay? Let's put that one out the way. And that particular teacher, he called his name, he used to tell the children, his way of encouraging the children was to tell them that they would only end up doing DSC, cleaning up the yard. Okay? So I guess it depended on what mood he was in also, or whether he was having a menopausal moment.
All right. We've got our guests who have a finite amount of time. So I do want to bring them on, and then we can bring you back on after they leave.
I just wanted to clarify.
Okay, no problem. Thanks very much. I appreciate it. All right. I just got the message that you guys are hot for time this morning. So let us welcome everyone in the studio with us. We have the Director of Hazard Management, Miss Danielle Coleman, and we have did I hear you got a little acting promotion there, Mr. Carey? It sounds like you were acting Director of Weather Services? I'm trying to remember the official name.
Acting Director, Cayman Islands National Weather Service.
National Weather Service. So congrats. You're acting long term, or I mean, we can
No, this a temporary stint.
Okay, all right. Well, that's wonderful. But we also know that you had meteorologists, and so all eyes this morning on. Is it still a tropical storm, Melissa? Because she's kind of just stationary and not going anywhere, which is making us all very uneasy.
That's the problem, and it's still tropical storm Melissa with 45 miles per hour winds. The last couple of days, the track been 2 miles per hour, 1 mile per hour, and even stationary 4 o'clock this morning. So that adds to the uncertainty of what the system has done and will continue to do in the future. But in terms of the last projections, it's still intended to move a little bit northward, skirt the south of Jamaica, and then makes a turn between Jamaica and the sister islands sometime Monday night, Tuesday morning, and being towards almost the northeast of the sister islands by early Wednesday morning. So that's the track that we're looking at right now.
Wow. Okay. So because she's stationary and still a little bit disorganized at this point, that means that we have to really keep a keen eye, I think, on future development and where she's going, because we've seen storms do this before, and they take that time to organize themselves while they're stationary. Is that kind of what's happening here?
Right now, it's in an unfavorable environment that's fighting it down, basically. But the projections and the reasoning behind the forecast is that these conditions will become a little more favorable, and that's why it gets pushed towards the west side of Jamaica. And there's a potential for, as you mentioned, rapid intensification once the storm starts to consolidate itself and become better defined. Rapid intensification just means that the storm could go basically from 1 to 2 categories in a very short period of time. So from the projections, we have potentially a major hurricane south of Jamaica, and then bearing between us and Jamaica early into next week.
Danielle Coleman, wow. Here we are again. I feel like, hurricane season. I honestly was beginning to feel like we were going to be so fortunate this season, and it was going to be a season with nothing stressful. We almost kind of made it, but then, these late storms pop up. And so I know your team is galvanizing all resources so that we are ready for anything. Tell us what right now, hazard management and all of the other agencies and teams, exactly what it is that they are doing in preparation.
Very good morning, Sandy, and of course to all the listeners. Yes, I think we thought we'd almost got away clear this year compared to last year. Obviously, there was a significant amount of storms last year, albeit nothing of significant impact. And again, we got pretty close this year so far, but unfortunately, we are dealing with this system right now. So, of course, for government, we have to make sure that we're ready no matter what happens. Of course, next week is very unpredictable. We've seen all the models. We've looked at the science. The science isn't even adding up particularly well. So I think we've got to make sure that we are in the Cayman Islands, all 3 islands, are very ready to go for the storm. And so as such, we've been readying the systems for the last couple of days, really, maybe about 5 days now, getting the sandbag stations open, readying the shelters, getting the shelter management teams on standby, working with the community emergency response teams. And they've been brilliant with the sandbag stations over the last few days. But also, meeting with the executive here in the government, and that, of course, is all the ministers, the Premier and the Governor, and the Council, and, of course, the Tactical Emergency Operations Centre colleagues. So there's a lot of meetings going on, a lot of work going on behind the scenes, but making sure that we are ready to go. We're liaising, obviously, with all our utility teams. We're liaising with, food, distribution and so forth. So making sure that everything we've got in place, no matter what happens next year, we can always pair next year. It's been a long week. We can always pair back, of course, but unless we're really ready to go, we'd be on the back foot. So we're taking this very seriously, and we're erring on the side of caution to make sure that everything is in place.
All right. So, even just 7 minutes ago, we're hearing that the storm will become a major hurricane. Some predictions even put it, outdoing Ivan, which I can't even fathom what that means, to be honest. That's just shocking to me, but we've got it prepared. Don't panic, of course, is what everyone is saying. Preparation is the key. We see our Caribbean agencies also preparing, notably Jamaica, the government in Jamaica, feeling that this could become a real concern to them. Danny, people are watching this morning. They say they can see that you're tired. I'm so sorry. This is part of the job for head of hazard management.
I'll try and do my squats if I find the energy.
You might need to just take a nap.
A lot of coffee and Red Bull, I suspect, this week.
But yes, it's, your job is one that happens because it's surrounding the sort of emergency preparations for a lot of different things. You kind of do things in spurts. So right now it's all hands on deck, and everyone is working to try to prepare, not just the government itself, but you're trying to get residents prepared to get out there and do what they need to do. So what is the best advice? Today is Friday morning. Residents are listening. What's the best advice that you can give them at this moment, going into the weekend? Sandbag distribution centers. So we have people requesting any updates on those. Are they still all available? Where can people go to collect their sandbags? And what other information do you want to advise of this morning?
So I think one thing, I'm always a positive thinker, and I think this time of the year, usually we have much quicker storms popping up below us. We have had quite a considerable time to deal with this one, and we've still got another 4 or 5 days ahead of us. So I think it's the beauty of time is that we have more time to prepare, making sure that obviously we're not panic buying, but we are going to supermarkets and grabbing some extra food supplies, making sure your family plans are in place. You're thinking about the elderly, you're thinking about your children, people with vulnerabilities. There's people with specific needs out there that we really need to cater towards as a family and as a community. I think sheltering is really, really important. If you do intend to, obviously next week, things could get worse quite quickly. If you do intend to evacuate, then obviously you need to be thinking about what kind of evacuation plans that looks like. But also, if you do intend to go to a shelter, you need to be identifying which shelter. Now, we will be releasing the shelter list depending on the risk. So what happens is that we triage the shelters. We do have like 19 shelters across all 3 islands. But we'll be advising the public very soon as to which ones will be opening when, if, again, the risk allows for it. We have to pivot a lot in these kind of forecasts. As you say, every 4 hours, we're seeing something new. So the information will come as soon as the decision's made after the forecast is reviewed, the risk is reviewed. But again, I think that personal preparedness is really important, making sure you're going around your garden, looking for any kind of projectiles, securing your house, and again, looking after the community. I think the community is so important, and really thinking about those in the community that might need your help. So by all means, prepare yourselves, your home, put your own mask on, as they say on the plane, but also please, please, please look after everyone else, because we're all in this together, of course. And I think we need to make sure Cayman kindness really comes out at times like this. I think a lot of people are anxious. I get a lot of messages coming through on a regular basis about anxiety. And, obviously we have the K-Mind helpline up and running. And if we do have to activate that for longer hours, we'll be doing that as well. So we'll provide all that information again through the website, caymanprepared.ky, but also all our social media. You're seeing it everywhere between Cayman Islands National Weather Service, the government, and hazard management. And I know everyone's sharing those messages. So it's really, really good just to keep abreast of what's going on and know that things can change very, very quickly.
Yeah. And of course, I like what you said about the vulnerable populations, because we all have seniors in our neighborhoods. Sometimes they themselves are hesitant to ask for help, knowing that they may need it, but just reach out to them to see, if they need anything, even sometimes just getting up and down, but getting some supplies sorted out. There are people who may be sick who need some assistance. So check on the elders in your community and sandbag locations. So I just want to confirm that these sandbag locations have not changed. And are there any additional ones that perhaps you're aware of? Somebody said, make sure you get your prescriptions filled as well, because you need to at least have a couple weeks of extra medication on hand, just in case. So any additional sites for sandbags?
No, at this time, no. I mean, these are the official sites. So there are some pop-up sites of community sandbag stations, but these are the 7 official sites that we're monitoring. I know tomorrow and the next day we'll also have the CERT teams and regiment helping with those sandbags. I think there's a bit of a lull today because we've obviously done 2 days already. So just, for volunteer purposes, there's sand there and the bags are there, but there'll be people on hand tomorrow and the next day to help if the need arises. But again, making sure everyone's prepared. Sandbags is one thing, but there's lots of other measures you can take to ensure your house is safe and ready to go for anything. You've got 4 days. Well, depending what happens, if it slows down anymore, I'm not sure it can. But at the same time, just really be ready and keeping an eye on this, because it really could develop pretty quickly for us.
Yeah. And someone's asking about this one off of Linford Pearson Highway. They're trying to figure out exactly where Outpost Street is. Where is that?
Okay, so the outpost it's very hard to describe. We'll pin it. I'll tell you what, we'll pin it in our socials. But
Okay.
It's off Linford Pearson Highway, but it's a bit tricky to find. So there will be signs. I understand the signs are going up today in regards to where those locations are. But again, all stations are up and running today, and I think the general thought is right now is 9 till 5. But again, if the risk increases, we'll obviously increase potential locations, but also times.
Okay, fantastic. All right. Let's just do a review, Mr. Powery, here on these colors. And I like that this was done, because sometimes we're like, what are we in again? Are we a warning or a watch? So let's go through what the colors are and what they actually mean. So severe weather advisory, what does that mean?
That essentially gives you a heads up of potential severe weather. That's heavy showers, lightning, thunder, heavy seas, a combination of multiple weather elements. Again, that's the teal color. The yellow alert could be used for hurricane or tropical storm. So that indicates that within 72 hours, you could start beginning to see the effects or feel the effects of tropical storm force winds or mild winds of 39 miles per hour or more. The orange watch means that within 48 hours, you could start to feel those 39 miles per hour winds in your area. And the warning, that's actually 36 hours from the onset of those tropical storm force winds. The gray means essentially the major threat, the hurricane, tropical storm has moved away. There are some subsidence in the weather, but this is the period that the government will take to assess the damages to infrastructure, to roads, to lights and power, everything, to make sure that it's actually safe for the general public to go out. And once that is completed, that may take an hour or two, maybe even longer. Then after that assessment is complete, the green all clear message will be issued as it relates to tropical storms or hurricanes. So again, you see the colors change, you should take action, as the caption says.
Thank you so much. And can we just remind our listening audience about the shelters that would be opening and which ones are pet friendly?
So at this time, the list is not finalized. So we triage it depending on the risk. We would have one per district if the risk allows it. You saw last year, we generally had the same ones per district. But again, if the risk increases, we'd be opening all 19. I do see a message about the pets. We talk about vulnerabilities now. We're Sandy, I know you and I are dog lovers, and I think and a lot of people are cat lovers as well, and animal lovers in general. Pets are really, really important during this whole phase. Obviously, behavior of animals, they can get very, very scared. We do have 2 pet shelters, John Gray High School and Clifton Hunter High School. And again, that's a case by case basis, but there are requirements, as in you can't just bring a dog in without a crate, for example. So, go on our website at www.caymanprepared.ky, and you can see what those requirements are to bring your animals to pet shelters. And again, we'll be be very, very open with that messaging moving forward. As soon as those shelters are ready to go, and as soon as we've decided which ones to open, we will be letting the public know very, very quickly. But again, just a reminder: when you go into a shelter, there are specific rules, as in you can't bring your entire house with you. That it's limited space. So we really ask people to know that be cognizant of the fact that you bring a small bag with you and food and drink, but not, you won't be cooking. So and food won't be provided either for you at the shelters. It has to be sort of snacks and so forth.
Yep. All right, folks. So please do your necessary preparations. Check your hurricane kit if you have them. Sometimes we need to go back and check what's in there because you eat. Some of you are eating your hurricane food throughout the entire year, so you've got to make sure that you've still got some adequate canned supplies, things that you can open up easily. Got batteries that haven't expired. Sanitary and cleaning supplies, because after a storm, sometimes we need a little bit of bleach, even to just have sanitized water to be able to bathe with, and so on. So go through the list. Prepared.ky has, a lot of useful resources in terms of what you need to be thinking about, what you need to be considering to make sure that you're adequately prepared. Flying debris. There's so many things that become a flying object during a storm that will, hit windows, hit vehicles, and so on. Try to now take the next 24 to 48 hours and clean up your yards. Old tires and bricks and other stuff that you've just, you haven't had a chance to get lawn work done. I would say that this is a time to shake down the coconut trees, take the coconuts off, and try to secure them as best you can. Now, I do have an advisory announcement this morning coming from the DART organization. The DART property managers are asking for people to not park their vehicles, and they've already identified a few vehicles. We're going to stick this up on social media. People are parking their vehicles in places that they do not have authorization to do so. And so even the NRA, I saw them out last night after 5 o'clock because a lot of people want to park on the bridge next to the Kimpton. That is not an allowed place for you to be parking your vehicles and then feeling like you can just leave them there. I'm trying to reach NRA because I don't know if they were going to put up some cones there to prevent people from doing that. In the past, I've suggested that they do, because every single time a storm's coming, that becomes a real problem, and people simply will not respect that's a safety issue. Parking your vehicles, there's a safety issue. It doesn't allow emergency services to utilize that bridge adequately if they need to be able to get to people in the District of West Bay. So please do not park on public roadways. Don't go abandon your cars. If you're in a low-lying area, you need to have a real plan of where your vehicle is going to go. And if it's private property, like the DART car parks, you need to get permission. You can't just go there and park your car. So if you've done so already, we're asking that you go ahead and remove those vehicles. The DART organization has reached out to us this morning. Any other general sort of safety things that people might be doing that they're not really thinking about that could be jeopardizing their lives and the safety of the community and even emergency services being able to navigate around the island?
I mean, again, I think I'm glad Kerry mentioned the grey period, the assessment phase after a hit of some sort. Again, we don't know what's going to happen next week. We're going to be monitoring that very, very closely. But that assessment phase after the storm seemingly has passed, it's so important for the public to stay off the road there. We really have so much work going on with the damage assessment teams, with the utilities, to restore utilities, to do any evacuations we might need, to help road clearance. There's so much going on. So we really ask the public during that grey period to stay off the road. I appreciate people have been inside for a couple of hours at that point, or a good few hours at that point, but just hang tight a few hours longer. And then when the all clear is given, obviously people can come out. We really don't want to see sort of restaurants opening up early like we've seen in the last couple of years. Obviously that means that staff have gone in even earlier than the opening times. And again, it's putting people's lives at risk. And we just ask everyone to play it really safe this week and next week. And also from a driving perspective, I mean, the driving in the Cayman Islands is becoming worse and worse and worse seemingly. And, just please always, but please particularly during these kind of conditions, drive really, really carefully, because we really don't need a load of road traffic accidents to add to an already stressful situation. We appreciate people are very anxious right now, but again, there is a lot of time to do planning for the next 4 days. Just go get your extra supplies and just again help others. If you're in the queue at the supermarket, please just be kind to each other, because it does get very nerve-wracking for a lot of people, and I think we just need to make sure we're all looking out for each other.
All right, very good. Evelyn says she doesn't want to put her dog in a pet shelter. I'll keep her tied to me in a garbage bag with her head out. Oh my gosh, that might be a little bit hot for her. But some dogs can swim. But if you've never had a dog that you've taken to the beach and actually teach them to swim, because they do have to learn, one of the things that you can do is you can actually get them flotation devices. I don't know how available they are on island right now, but that's a great idea, because especially for the smaller dogs, you can actually, it has a handle at the top, you can pick them up and help support them if need be, if you have water that kind of rises, that type of a situation. But yeah, definitely have a plan. Part of your plan, if you're a dog owner, folks, should be to have a plan for your pets or your cats or whatever animals you have as well, because animals do get agitated by bad weather. Even birds, they do get agitated by bad weather. So please have a plan for how you will deal with them, because if you don't, that only adds to your stress and the stress of what you potentially could go through. It almost should go without saying, but worth mentioning, that if you have children, you also need to have a plan for children, because children likewise may not understand if we only get a category 2 or 3 storm. They still have never been through anything like that. They may have some stress and distress because of it. So have activities for them to do, talk to them about what's happening. They might not understand everything, but I feel like open conversation and dialogue about a storm is coming. What does that potentially mean? How we prepare, and all these things are really, really important. Make your children part of the process so they can understand some of what is happening around them.
Sandy, I think that's a really good point. Sorry, I had to come in that. I think it's such an important point to bring in the children as a whole part of the planning process, because obviously as adults we're getting very anxious. They see the mum and dad getting very anxious about what's going on, and if you're not talking to them, it really is really very difficult. So I think we would strongly encourage you to talk to your children and make them part of the process. Let them help you plan the house. Let them help you plan their shelter bags or whatever it is, because it's just it really has shown to be very, very helpful. We also have a lot of resources again for children, be it we've been working with the Wellness Center as well on sort of what's happening in a hurricane kind of booklets, as well as kids coloring books all about hazards. So you'll see them around and about, but again, we've got a lot here at Hazard Management, and just please make them part of the process, and again, indeed the whole household really.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. Of course, the CMR team is going to be on the ground as much as possible. We'll be in contact. We've got mobile numbers, I think, for most of the hazard management team, definitely Danny and Carrie, and we will be in contact with them, and any updates, relevant updates, as soon as government puts out the official word, we share it on our social media channels to try to reach as wide an audience as possible. We do have an announcement as well that we're going to give you about the cancellation of an event. So there are some people now coming ahead of this who will be canceling events over the weekend. And so we've got one of those. So thank you so much to both of you. And thank you for all the work that you do. Really, during times like this, we get to see what important role hazard management plays in the community. And
thank
of course,
you very much, Sandy, and the weather service.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ms. Carrie, Ms. Danny. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Have a good one. All right, folks. So announcement here, cancellation, Nightmare at Fields of Dreams, Fields of Screams. This is an annual event that the good folks over at Home Gas put on. And it is a fundraising event. It's their largest fundraising event that they do for the year, where they select a charity, and then they have Halloween exhibits that you can go through. So they have already canceled their event. It's supposed to start on the 24th, which was tonight, because they said even yesterday, the winds that we're starting to get, the winds are picking up, and the storm's still way out there. But, it was starting to shred some of their stuff. So they've decided to, out of an abundance of caution, to just put everything on pause. They're going to cancel the event for this weekend. They're going to dismantle much of the haunt already. They've dismantled it. And hopefully once the storm passes, they can then make an assessment about when to rebuild for next week. But once they've rebuilt, we'll let you guys know, because again, it's kind of a fun thing to do for Halloween. And in fact, they really do a phenomenal job of fundraising for organizations over the years, donating thousands of dollars to some really good organizations. So we'll post this up on social media in case you were planning on going out this evening. Just put that on hold. Yes, so get your medications in order. Some of you, thank you, Tansy, said not to leave. Please, please, please do not leave your pets out in the storm. I already got a video from somebody on Adonis Street there in West Bay, already, putting the dog outside in the rain. Come on, folks. Have a safe place for your pets. Even during regular rainy season, you should not have your pets outside. Give them some good options of, staying in a garage that has proper ventilation. Bring them indoors. If you've got a patio porch, somewhere where they can get proper coverage, that would really, really be appreciated. Gabby, we still don't know yet. There's a lot of unknowns. So the best thing to do is just stay tuned at this stage. So we did post, someone shared something yesterday in relation to the weather update. Of course, our good friend, Brian Shields, we are monitoring him, and I'll share some stuff here that he has shared with us. We are monitoring him and his reports very, very carefully. And this is what he has up. So a lot of us have interest in Jamaica. So we're also watching this. And as you saw here on CMR, we aired yesterday we aired a live stream from the Jamaican government, where what they're doing in terms of preparation. If you didn't see that, please visit our page, because listen, we're Caribbean folks, and we know that if this impacts Jamaica, that means that it's also going to impact us as well. And we have family in Jamaica. We've got friends in Jamaica. So here on CMR, we cover things beyond just our 3 islands. We do cover on a regular basis regional news out of Jamaica, the Bahamas, TCI, all over. I actually have a Caribbean connections group on WhatsApp where we try to keep in contact with each other as well. So it's important that we know what's happening in the region. And, quite frankly, it's not looking good for somebody is probably going to get it. Us, Jamaica, Haiti, DR, it's going to touch land somewhere. So we got to really, really keep an eye out for this for sure. So we did air that. So if you want to go back and watch that live stream from the Jamaican government in terms of what they're doing for preparations, again, similar to Cayman, they flood easily, and they now know that there's certain areas that are going to be more prone to flooding than others. Already the winds, I saw somebody sent me a TikTok video where this guy was talking about how the winds already so, not the winds, the sky is already so dark in Jamaica. And he's like, oh my God, this does not look good. So yeah, let me just share the link in case you missed it yesterday and you want to see, it was about an hour long. You want to see what preparatory things the Jamaican government is doing, go ahead and have a look at that link there and you can get up to speed. Obviously, if you have interest in Jamaica, property, whatever, you know that you've got to do what you've got to do, right? So Jamaica, his advice as of this morning is that you need to finish full hurricane preparations as soon as possible, because this Melissa is going to become a hurricane this weekend, and it's anticipated to hang around Jamaica all the way into next week. They say this is a long duration event, which means lots of high winds and catastrophic levels of rain. So again, because the storm isn't moving, when she does start to pick up, they don't expect she's going to be full speed. She's not going to go 20 miles an hour right away. She is going to build up to that. And so somebody mentioned, I've never seen a storm crawl at 2 miles per hour. Actually, if my memory serves me correctly, that's exactly what Ivan was doing. Ivan was crawling stationary and kind of stayed over us and beat us down. Right. So this is now, Melissa looks like she has the potential to be, this must be Ivan's daughter. Now she's an adult age, 20 something years old later. So the flooding, he says, will be terrible. Seek higher ground if needed. And please keep one another. I think that's a little typo. Please help one another out. If anyone lives in a weak structured home on a hillside, because, in Jamaica, a lot of the hillsides are the roads there are subject to mudslides. And so that's a real problem. Roads get blocked and so on. So please consider that. Or if you're by the water, please go to a safer location. So he goes on to say that we all have different means. So this is not easy at all. And he's asking others to please help each other out. And thank you for helping friends, neighbors, and those in your community. The support everyone is giving each other is absolutely amazing. Poor Haiti. What a mess. Of course, they're in political turmoil still. But they're looking at the Tiburon Peninsula. The catastrophic flooding is occurring already. Communities will be cut off from neighboring communities, with roads and rivers making things impassable. And again, just to help each other out the best that they can. But the poor people in Haiti are already struggling so much that I don't even know. So they have a team there on the ground that is helping to spread awareness of how bad the flooding will be, and, to try to get out of the way as much as you possibly can. But of course, in Haiti, the resources are extremely limited. The Dominican Republic, additional rounds of rain will make the flooding worse. So they've already started to get some rain, asking people to seek higher ground if needed. And the flooding in certain areas will be life-threatening. He goes on to say this is a bad situation. However, I'm always hopeful that we get some better news. Things can change. But as it stands right now, we have no choice but to get ready. Melissa will be getting stronger and is coming her way. Please be safe. And of course, he's going to continue to track Melissa for us nonstop. And he's thinking of all of us and keeping us in his prayers. Thank you so much, Brian. Really, really appreciate you. And of course, we're in direct contact with Brian. And we are going to be, keeping an eye on all of these things for you. All right. Marshall says, remember Hurricane Mitch? It sat for days over Central America and killed over 10,000 people over 20 years ago. I do remember Mitch, actually, because a lot of people in Honduras were impacted by Mitch, and especially the Bay Islands. That was the first time that I recognized, I think it was Mitch. Did we have a Michelle at one point too? I think it was Mitch though. But that was the first time that I recognized our connections to the Bay Islands, because when I heard their accent, I was like, they shored in the Bay Islands? Can people sound Caymanian to me? I mean, I could not tell the difference between, and there was a specific island in the Bay Islands that, man, they sounded just like a Caymanian. I was like, oh my God, I remember it would have been probably around 97. Was Mitch around 97? Because 96, 97, I just moved back to Cayman and this storm hit. I got to look this up because I can't remember what storm it was now, but it might have been Mitch. And I remember watching the local news at the time. So this was 25 years ago, over 25 years ago now. When did Mitch, hold on, let me see when Mitch was. 1998. Could it have been 98? It might have been. Hello, good morning, caller. Hello.
Yes, Miss Sandy.
Hi.
Yeah, I thought you were live. I just wanted to make
No,
a
I am
point
live.
regarding the amount of water people are currently buying at Foster's and
Oh.
Price Right.
Okay. Yeah, we're live. Go ahead. Tell me what's going on.
Yes, there is a phenomenon that I see based on my observation, where people are buying like 6, 7 cases of water, one person. I think there should be a limit on how many cases of water one person are allowed to buy. You know, we have to
Okay.
be considerate of those who might not be able to buy many cases. So that's my concern moving forward. You know, one person buying so many cases of water, I think there should be a limit. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to reach out to the grocery stores to see if they're thinking about it, because I know a lot of times you're in situations, emergency situations like this. The retailers do limit it because they know what inventory and what stock that they have. But what you said, people are buying how much? That's crazy. There is
Yesterday
excessive.
I saw one person buying 5 cases of water. I'm like, you know, if this should continue like this, you know,
Yeah.
we have to be considerate about the other rest of
Right.
people in the population, you know.
Yeah.
So
All right. Let
I
me
think there should be a
reach out
limit on
to
how many cases of water one person is allowed to buy.
let me reach out to Foster's and Hurley's about this. Thank you so much. I appreciate the comment.
No problem. You're
All
welcome.
right, my dear. So it's a good question. Do we need to start mandating that, you know, these things are limited? Listen, you got to fill up if you have a bathtub, which I know a lot of people don't have bathtubs, but you've got to find containers to fill up. Like if you have bathtubs ahead of a storm, you need to fill that up so that you have flushing water, you have, you know, usable water for at least a couple days. If you don't have a bathtub, then you need to get things like, you know, buckets that you can fill up and have in your house. Let me ask Woody. All right, let's find out if there's any considerations around that. And yes, you know, somebody else mentioned, like, don't take plywood if you don't need it. I don't know what's wrong with you all, but it's times like this that we should be coming together, not excessive greed. You know, if you don't need something, don't take it, because there are lots of other people out there who do need things. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. I tell you, I said this on Sabrina's show yesterday. I tell you, people are out there, buying up everything, going on so stupid, because by the help of God, I don't think we gonna get anything. If we do get anything, it can be nothing more than breeze and rain. And they out there, because they were asking about if the supermarkets will open on Sunday. I said, not gonna be nothing out there for them to open for on Sunday, depending on how much supply they got, because unless they got extra backup, because why see out there? I tell you, I went from Thursday, and I couldn't, from Wednesday, and I couldn't get the bread that I use. And people, I don't know, they still not got no money, and then they out there buying up everything. It's so stupid. And then next week, they probably not run out and not got no money to buy it. I don't know why people like that. And then like that guy say, yes, it should be limited, because if I can buy 20 cases, why I should get 20 and somebody that need 2 can't get none? Yes, they should put a what call it, a limit to the how much each person can get. And I get no excess. I got 8 6-gallons, 5 gallons, or whatever. And I only got water when the guy come the other day. Right now, my cooler is almost empty, and I have 2 extra, but I ain't buying none. I ain't going out to not myself spend not my $2 for nothing. Because I don't think we gonna get nothing much. I got faith in God, and we don't need nobody to need it. I hope it was going mash up, but whatever. But I don't know why people out there say they were out there crazy. Somebody tell me from Tuesday, I think it was, they said they went price right, and they went to get water. And I don't know. I don't even want to go out. But
I mean, you know, if you need some supplies, that's fine. If you need water, but I mean, there has to be some point where, you know, you rein it in a little bit. Same thing about, you know, if you don't need your place boarded up, you know, don't take the hurricanes. Some people are just.
And kind of mosquitoes killing you. We went outside the yesterday in Jesus' peace. I mean, they up in our grass, so they're killing you. And then we gonna got plenty of water in this yard up in here already. For the other rain we had, thank God, since only last night we had one little fall. But my backyard, you could come and look. You could almost sail kayak down and that. No, they're wet from all them other rains that we. But I was concerned about my thought because I'm hoping that he don't come because I'm almost sure that my thought for house top and probably go. It's like I say, I got faith and I pray and whatever, but I don't think we can get that. It's moving slow. And like I said yesterday, that Mitch was the one that killed Honduras. I can remember that because that's the only concern that I got about this as it comes because it's not moving. It's like it's stagnant. It don't know where it won't go, and that's what kills you. If you got wind and then that not moving because the wind with that just lingering wrong and blow wrong and lick down everything. But once it moving fast, it will come in. If it even blow wrong, couple of things, it will go and get out of the area. But it's when that linger. So this is what I was saying. Look like Melissa, I don't know what she wants. She looking something but can't find it. And she just covering in one area. She find like how the helicopter be when they looking things. But I don't know. I just say it.
Thank you, my dear.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
People keep calling me. They say, you're not going to the shop. I say, who? Not me. I'm not going out there in that crowd. And then they're running so crazy. Oh, they're speeding and all kinds of things. You see that car that turn up on the top?
Yeah, we had several, but we got another person calling in, but we had several cars yesterday, but that not got nothing to do with the weather. That's just stupid driving. Thank you, my dear. All right, another caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Sorry for making it a historical event. I called you 3 times in one day. But anyway, Sandra.
Yes, ma'am.
People need to bear in mind you have representatives who have gotten out ahead of this thing, and they have their district councils, those who have appointed district councils, out buying stuff. Obviously to give to those who need. So if I'm not saying that's the case with everyone, but you might see one person perhaps buying even 20 cases of water, but it doesn't mean it's for them.
That's a good point.
You also have people that have several people in a household. You could have a family of 6. So you need to buy enough water that could last for 6 people. And then other people don't have any means of transportation, so you might be picking up for them. And furthermore, I know the caller's concerned, or I think I understand their concern. We are not a communist country, so the supermarket cannot ration you as to how much you can buy. That only happens when it becomes, and well, they can use their discretion if a natural disaster. That's what I was looking for. And then they can say, okay, well, we won't get any more in. We don't know when. So right now we're allowing 1 per person or something like that. But for right now, my suggestion would be do not be one of the 5 foolish virgins. Okay? You don't want to be caught off guard with the system. As Brian rightly said, and I follow Brian every day too, and I'm so sorry I missed him live yesterday morning. Listen, you confused me. You confused me. Based on what you said, I thought it was this morning. But anyway,
no.
And I did something I never do. I actually went back and I listened to it. So,
okay, you did get to at least say. Isn't he lovely?
He's wonderful.
Yes.
You know, I used to listen to several of them, and and then I just decided I don't need to listen to the rest of them. I'm going to listen to Brian.
He's got you covered. Yes.
And I just started sharing it and sharing it and sharing it. In fact, when this system, I've been watching this thing this way from it came off Africa. That's how long I've been watching this. And, so I started then to send it to people here, people in Jamaica, even to people in the U.S. And I just kept saying, you got to watch this. You got to watch this. And I say, don't wait until this thing is upon you or upon us. Go out now and get your stuff. You don't want to go out in that jungle. You don't want to wait till things are finished. That happened in Ivan. And of course, the good thing, if there's a good thing about this system, we have and they've had a lot of time to prepare.
Yes, that is very true.
And it's better to be prepared.
That's right. And not need it. That's right.
You didn't do it. And then, of course, it's upon you.
Exactly. And then you panic at the last minute. Yeah.
So my short advice to everyone is to prepare and pray.
Okay.
Prepare and pray.
Thank you
leave
so much.
God out of it. Okay?
Appreciate it.
All right.
All right. Someone said give Miss Brenda kaboom. Someone on Instagram makes an interesting point. They said, this is Xmarvic345 says those that buying have businesses and selling it back. So they're going out there to buy it and resell it to the people. When you can't find nothing in the stores, go to their shop. I bet you find it there. Oh, that's something I did not think about, to be honest. Oh, hope they're not doing that. I'm actually checking with my handyman to see, we had some plywood around here, checking to make sure that that was removed. That was when I had my little crutches. And I'm gonna just do a walk around my yard. The other thing I want to mention is if you have rental properties, please be thinking of your tenants and be mindful of your tenants, because they too deserve to not have a leaking roof and all these sort of things. And he replied, this hurricane does not look good. Yeah, trust me. So here's the thing. If we don't get it here in Grand Cayman, we've got 3 islands. We are the Cayman Islands after all. So the sister islands, I think, have the potential of getting the brunt of this. And Lord knows, poor Cayman Brac and Little Cayman don't need it either. So we've got to look out for them. The Brac had Paloma. I think that was the last major storm that kind of did them bad. Little Cayman, I don't think Paloma did Little Cayman too bad as I recall, but, you know, not as many people there, but still. We have to be equally concerned about the sister island. So just reminiscing about Hurricane Mitch, this was 1998, and Hurricane Mitch is still on record as the second deadliest. So it formed on October 22nd. Not for nothing, but kind of like similar to this one. Formed October the 22nd, 1998. And dissipated on November the 9th, 1998, became extratropical on November the 5th. And basically, this storm still has the deadliest storm, the second deadliest storm, in Atlantic history. The highest winds they clocked at 180 miles per hour. It's so funny, I'm pretty sure I've been clocked more than that. But the thing with this storm is the deadliness in terms of loss of life. So a powerful, extremely deadly and catastrophic tropical cyclone that became the second deadliest Atlantic hurricane on record. Mitch caused 11,374 fatalities in Central America alone in 1998, including some 7,000 in Honduras and over 3,800 in Nicaragua due to cyclosemic flooding from the slow motion of the storm. And that, especially countries like that, we have a lot of mudslides and stuff. The flooding can be catastrophic. It was the deadliest hurricane in Central American history, surpassing Hurricane Fifi or Lean. We had a double barrel name for Hurricane Fifi or Lean. When was that? Which killed slightly fewer people in the same area in 1974. Wow. Mitch was the deadliest Atlantic hurricane in the satellite era and the second deadliest on record in the Atlantic, only behind the Great Hurricane of 1780. 1780, wow. Which killed at least 22,000 people. Probably way more, but back then they didn't have the kind of counting that they do now. What is this Great Hurricane of 1780? The 13 named storms, 9th named and 3rd major hurricane of the 1998 Atlantic season, Mitch formed in the Western Caribbean Sea on October 22nd, and also responding to extremely favorable conditions, rapidly strengthened to peak at Category 5 status and the highest possible rating on the Saffir-Simpson scale. After drifting southwestward and weakening, the hurricane hit Honduras as a minimal Category 1 storm, and then Mitch moved through Central America, regenerated in the Bay of Campeche, and ultimately impacted Florida as a strong tropical storm. So this is crazy. When it hit, it was only a Category 1 and still so many people were killed? Wow. That's wild. That is so wild. It then became extratropical and accelerated northeastward across the North Atlantic before dissipating on November the 9th. At the time, Mitch was the strongest Atlantic hurricane observed in the month of October, surpassing Hurricane Hattie, of the 1961 season, and the record would stand for 7 years until it would be broken by Hurricane Wilma of the 2005 season. In addition, Mitch is the 9th most intense Atlantic hurricane on record, tied with Hurricane Dean in 2007 in terms of pressure. Being the deadliest Atlantic hurricane in over 200 years, Mitch caused catastrophic impacts across its path, and the most disastrous impacts came from Honduras, which suffered over half of the total deaths. So sad. The president of Honduras at the time, Carlos Roberto Flores, estimated that Mitch set back about 50 years of economic development. Whoa. The storm wrecked about 35,000 houses and damaged over 50,000, leaving up to 1.5 million people homeless. And another 20% of the country's population, about 20% of the country's population, Mitch directly caused over $2 billion in damage, with an additional $1.8 billion in indirect cost. Most of the damage was ruined crops, cash crops exports cut by 9.4% in 1999, largely due to the storm. Wow, so devastating. Caller, good morning, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sandra.
Hi, Mr. Dexter. How are you doing? Happy Friday.
I'm wondering whether or not I want to be a human anymore, because with what I'm seeing, people going and buying all this supplies for the hurricane, and they're not listening to the experts. The Weather Channel, that is one of the best places to get the update. And they said once it past Jamaica, it's going to turn and go north. And then because once it gets near to Jamaica, and trying to get across those mountain ridges there, it's going to end up slowing it down, or not going to be developing like it is. But coming back to the groceries, why do people buy water? That is the most craziest and the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. Because they don't realize that bottled water comes from areas that doesn't have a lot of good supply of water, and they use sewage. They filter out the sewage. A lot of water that people drinking, they don't know what they're drinking. Let's go online and do a research on it.
Well, I mean, yes. Well, you just still need to have some drinking water, right? And if the water gets shut off, then people feel like,
Yeah, but go and boil and get your big pots, containers, and boil the water.
Yeah, people don't have a lot of people don't have them big pots anymore, or nothing to boil and put it in. So
because nobody wants to cook. Nobody wants to cook anymore.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Dexter, thank you so much.
Right.
We do have a 10:30 update now that I'm going to share with our listeners as well. Thank you, Mr. Dexter.
And that will be $50 for my advice. Okay.
Thank you, darling.
Have a wonderful day.
All right. Tropical Storm Melissa. Information as of 10 a.m. just came in. So this is the latest that we have on this storm. So let me just read this to you. So this is a 10:30 a.m. update on TS Melissa by the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. The National Hurricane Center continues to its advisories on Tropical Storm Melissa. The storm is moving slowly at 2 miles per hour, and environmental conditions are expected to become more favorable for development through the weekend, with TS Melissa anticipated to become a hurricane by tomorrow. Further strengthening is likely. Let me show you the latest path here. Give me one momento. Por favor. As the Americans say, por favor. Por favor, Sandy. Por favor. Here we go. All right, there it is. Yes. So anticipated to become a hurricane by tomorrow. Further strengthening is likely, and the system could become a major hurricane by Monday as the system moves south of Jamaica. The recent forecast track has the system possibly moving a bit further east than previously indicated. I think that's good news. East, south, west, northeast. Okay. There still remains uncertainty of how the system will move, its size and structure, and we should see possible changes. We could see possible changes of the track with new updates. So stay tuned. Given the uncertainty that still exists with the storm, and we move into next week, residents are encouraged to remain cautious and prepared as we monitor Tropical Storm Melissa. Be aware of updates for any potential impact or advisories for the Cayman Islands. And of course, as we get this information, we do share it immediately on our various social media channels to ensure that everyone has the latest updates. Okay, so I'm literally posting this as we speak. Okay, posting it right now, putting some little emojis in there. I like to do the ones with emojis now because I notice that y'all pay attention to those. So give me 1 second. Okay. Coming right up. Tropical storm update. All right, honey child. That's where we're at. Schools, stay tuned to what's happening with the schools and what they're doing. I know some schools today, because they have to prepare their campus, they're like, there's no after school, there's no, whatever activities, pick your kids up a little bit early so that they can check things out at the school and be prepared for whatever might happen next week. Because remember now, some of the schools actually double as shelters and stuff as well. So that's a lot of what I know hazard management is out there doing. All right, good folks. Appreciate your tuning in to the program this morning. Like I said, the Minister of Education has his work cut out for him. A lot of people are pleased that he's back in the saddle. His West Bay people have given him the opportunity to not just represent them, but represent all of the Cayman Islands and to really get in there and do an amazing job by us, because education, we got to get it right, folks. We can't fix anything to do with immigration and work permits and this and that if our people are not ready and able to take up positions. So I agree that education and healthcare are extremely important to the success of this country. Next update, folks, will be at 4:30 p.m. on the storm. And so we will have any and all information available to you. Let me just see here now. So that you can keep track of exactly where this storm is at and what it is doing. In the meantime, enjoy your Friday. Hope you have a good one. I'll post up some more about the GAC event that I went to last night. Like I said, I had a fantastic time. And again, thanks to Arch Automotive for the invite. It was really a lot of fun. And I'll get some answers to some of your questions as well in terms of pricing and all that good stuff. After the storm, we can discuss those things. All right. Okay, so get water is important. Water is important to survival. So filter water jug, it says Michelle, good advice. It would be cost effective, assuming he means before. Yep, you can boil water and stuff beforehand. So yep. I remember my mother talking about Hurricane Fifi. Oh, I've never even heard of Hurricane Fifi. Okay. Yes. All right. Muffin pans, teal light. What? Oh, seal light, teal light, and a cooling rack. Place pot over the tea lights. That'll boil water. I don't think that's enough to boil water, but because you see, what happens after a storm is a lot of times the actual water becomes contaminated. All right. Anyway, good folks, I'm out of here. I got work to do. You guys have a beautiful weekend and be safe. We'll be doing regular check-ins and updates, so don't worry, we're not going far. And again, our friends in Jamaica, I had someone messaging here that they had some concerns about what Jamaica is going to be like. And yeah, we just got to hold the fort down as much as possible. All right. Good. Talk to you guys in a bit. Be safe on the roadways.